Cash brothers in the house. That means it's Sharif and, wow, Sharif and...
I'm gonna let you finish, but I'm gonna let you finish, but...
Wow, Pam, she's got no chill, bro. No chill. What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as the Midday Show. That is your boy Joey Options, and I'm Sharif. And we already have a couple of people. Shout out to Jacoby Waters. Have a great day yourself, sir. I love the attitude. Shout out to M. Mason, VRO Trades, and Yannick Nesbitt, Mateus Lane as well. We got the world's greatest mod. We have Vic Yan, Vac and Cesar Sandoval. We got Champions of Liberty. Love that name. Star City Pro. Love that. Pitchbull, Kalua, Seth, Ezekiel, Captain, Physics. Yes, that's a sick name. I like the way you spelt it. Easy Media. We got Sixto V or 605, Yoel Reyna, as well as the OG, Mark Susi and Fiddlebeck. Marcelino joining us as well as Ruby. We got Baron Trump, Seth, Jimmy J. We got I like my suitcase. We got Crypto D. We got, who's this? Will Not Know. George S. Hamlet. Vince. CHPT. Merv. JD. He is roaring on 20s. I love that. Shout out to T-Man and Idris. Rome 24. Yak. Shout out to Nina Animals. And who's this? Mikdad Muhammad. We got Gonzalo G and Catmandu. I love that. I think Obi likes that too. Hold My Name. And who else? Last one here. Northern Canopy Developments. I hope everybody's having a fantastic day. There's a whole lot moving here, Joseph. Wow.
Bro, it's an absolute stellar of a day. I mean, we were talking about the mags earlier before that. You were pointing them out. They all just seem to be roaring. But first things first, Sharif, yes, I just want to show some love to a couple individuals in the chat.
Absolutely.
Kalula and DJ Deckard Kane. Man, the kind words, truly, yeah, that's all I can say is just thank you. I know a lot of you guys put stuff in the chat there, but I noticed Kalula and DJ, so thanks. Thank you.
Anything you want to cover before we weasel on into the lesson, my man?
Yeah, absolutely, brother. You know what we're going to do right now? We're going to go see the top performing sectors, my friend. And you know what? It looks like a little defensive movement is going on here. So we have utilities in first place. You know we're going to do the win play show here, guys. So utilities up a whopping 0.75%, all right, guys, in first place. And then we have the communications sector up about a half a point. They're sitting in second place. And then the tech sector looking like it's being ran by Amazon and Microsoft and as well as Apple in the show at 0.42%, my friend. That's what we got for the top 3 performing sectors so far this morning.
All right, Tisha, I see you. I know you want to talk about HSAI. You know I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to give you guys a quick glimpse of the small cap gappers that I've got on the side chart today, but sadly, we do have to weasel on into the lesson. This is the one you're talking about, Tish, right there. HSAI, a light, a decent, an all right. 75% up on the day, knocking the door of that $0.50. We already broke through it, but that's not the only one, Tisha. There's a whole bunch of other ones. LX looking awfully directional right now, taking out 420. We got PDYN trying to hold above that $6 level and the volume weighted average price. We have VSEE giving up the dang ghost, giving it up right there at VWAP and at an area crest at that 280. We'll have to keep an eye on this one. Rocket Labs looking awfully bull flaggish. Another good day for RKLB, trying to hang out above VWAP. We've got Kodak. Remember this one? We were talking about 2020, 2021. This one's above VWAP and running today, but not a big mover. And then last but not least, we got SGMO. So there's a whole bunch of small cap gappers. I promise you, we're going to get to all of them, not just from an analysis perspective, but you know how we do on the show. We're going to trade these bad boys. And first and foremost, Ian Respeto. He's dropping cash. He's wasting no time, Joseph. Hey, guys, I'm in Meta long hold. It's having a great day and up. Any news or catalyst looking real quick for you? I know that Meta's been beat up a little bit lately, so, quite unjustifiably so, in my opinion. We'll keep an eye out on this one. Here it is. Meta, OpenAI, partner with Orange to train AI models for African languages. Man, anybody who knows anything about these emerging markets knows that Africa is booming. right now. So, having languages that meet the dialects of the continent, obviously something really good. I don't really see anything else. Let me just have a quick look on the side or my blotter over here. Nothing really coming in, to be honest with you, Ian, aside from that. If I do see anything, though, or if Joseph sees anything, we'll definitely let you know. No question about it. But let's weasel on into the lesson du jour. Guys, we're continuing our chat, our talk, our lessons on these momentum oscillators. Today, we're going to talk about the stochastic oscillator. Yesterday, we waxed poetic about the money flow index. We're going to talk a little bit about the overlap between the two, because they do have quite a bit of overlap. Because, well, that's just the way it is. They're momentum oscillators. And Ramram just reminded me that I have to do an ad read, but I don't have the calendar up, Ramram, which is what I'm doing right now. I'm just getting that bad boy ready. You let me know when we got to pay some bills. So here we go. Understanding the stochastic oscillator, as we always do, we're going to start very basic, just introduce the topic. The stochastic oscillator, as I alluded to, is a momentum oscillator. It measures the closing price of a security relative to its high and low range over a specified period. So relative to a high, low range over a specified period. It's often used to identify, like we use the RSI and everything else in momentum oscillator word, overbought and oversold conditions. That is its most basic function, but not the only function with which it is used. So here, this is how it is. It usually appears on the bottom of the chart, much like the RSI and the money flow index and all the other oscillators, with an overbought rating of 80 and an oversold of 20. So exactly the same levels as we had on the MFI yesterday. We're going to geek out a little bit over here for a hot second, just to talk about the calculation for all my math nerds out there. We're not going to belabor it more than that, but the percentage K line. So I'm going to submit to you, there are two lines of note on the stochastic oscillator. One is called percentage K and one is called percentage D. The percentage K line, super easy to calculate. The close minus the low divided by the high minus the low multiplied by 100. That's the last time you're going to hear that, because the computer does all the analysis for you. The percentage D line, much easier. We'll talk about that in a hot second. After, though, we pay some bills, Ramram. All right. Exciting news from VinFast, the electrifying story of 2024. Hold on to your seats. VinFast, Vietnam's EV trailblazer, just released its Q3 financial results, and here's why the buzz is real. Q3 deliveries skyrocketed by 115% year over year, with nearly 22,000 EVs delivered. But how about that revenue? A solid $512 million, up 42% just from Q2. And that's not all. Gross margins improved by nearly 4,000 basis points compared to Q2. VinFast is now Vietnam's undisputed EV champion. After pivoting to a pure EV strategy just 2 years ago, they've zoomed past global brands in the market, growing their retail sales in Vietnam by 159% quarter over quarter and an unbelievable 504% year over year in Q3. So what's next? VinFast certainly not slowing down, with Vietnam as its launching pad. The Vietnamese EV OEM continues to balance growth and cost optimization. And with new funding of $3.5 billion from its founder and parent company, they're set to stay in the fast lane for its global expansion. Shout out to the good folks there at VinFast, who again did a report today. Weasel on over and read about their report. But back to the lesson, Ram. So we talked about that percentage K line and how it is calculated. This is really not that important. All you need to know about the percentage D line is it is a 3-period simple moving average of the K line. So whatever the closing level was on K line, for the K line on day 1, 2, and 3, you're taking a 3-period simple moving average and plotting that as a new line, AKA the percentage D line, where the close, when we say close here, is the closing price. The high, obviously, is the highest priced, and the low is the lowest price on a specific day, okay? But let's talk a little bit more about these lines and what they represent. So the percentage K line, the more important of the lines. This line represents the current closing price relative to its recent high-low range. So a value, for example, of 100 indicates the closing price is at the highest point of the range, while a value of 0 indicates that the closing price is at the lowest end of the range. The percentage D line, by contrast, this is a smooth version of that percentage K line. It's calculated, as I mentioned, or calculated as a 3-period simple moving average of the percentage K line. The smoothing, in this particular case, helps smooth out the noise or weed out the noise and make the signal a bit more readable. And this is kind of what we're looking at there. Your percentage K line right there is a 5-period, and then your percentage D line, a 3-period of your percentage K line. And so this is what they look like on the chart. Don't get too worried about trying to read it right now. We'll go over that. So how do you use them? How do you use that percentage K line, that percentage D line? What's the move here? Let's first talk about the percentage K. So the percentage K line can be used to identify overbought and oversold conditions. So super easy in this particular case. When the percentage K line is above that 80 level, we're talking about an overbought reading and a reversal may be imminent. Not that simple. We'll get more nuanced. Conversely, when the percentage K line below 20, it's indicating that the market is oversold and a reversal to the upside could also be imminent. The percentage D line. The percentage D line can be used to confirm the signals that you're already seeing from that percentage K line. So for example, if the percentage K line is overbought above 80, but the percentage D line is still rising. In other words, it still hasn't gotten to that 80 level. It's still printing 60, 65, whatever. It's suggesting to you that that overbought state for the percentage K line may subsist for longer. So again, if you have a percentage K line already above that 80 print, so in overbought territory, but your percentage D line is still weaseling up, say like 60, mid-60s, you can hang out from the percentage K line perspective, continue or for longer in that overbought territory, okay? However, if the percentage K line is overbought and the percentage D line starts falling, it's suggesting to you potential reversal. So what does that mean? So our potential K line is above 80, but our percentage D line is no longer rising at this point, trying to work its way closer to the percentage K line. No. It starts falling. So that the percentage D is falling when the percentage K is in that overbought. You could be looking at a reversal. So some nuance there. Yes. Did I using? Yes, okay. I just want to put one more point. Yes, percentage D and percentage K when used together. When used together, the two lines can provide a more robust signal. So, for example, a bullish crossover. When we talk about this, oh, that's right, yesterday, and every time we talk about moving averages. A bullish crossover occurs when the percentage K line crosses the percentage D line from south to north. That's a bullish crossover, and it's sometimes a signal. Conversely, when the percentage K line crosses from north to south, down below the percentage D line, that's a bearish crossover, one of the ways we can use it. So here we go. We have, just as by way of example, overbought and oversold conditions on the percentage D and percentage K. You're below 20. Both lines are below it. You're oversold. Both lines are above it. You're overbought. Okay? That's kind of how it looks there. Super simple. And now the crossovers. So here we go. So the green one over here is the percentage K. So look how the percentage K line crosses above the percentage D line. Look where it crosses though, before the breakout area at $1.25. And then look what happens subsequent to that. You end up breaking out big and make new highs. So how do we use it for trading? So what's the move here? So like we mentioned, 3 different ways to use the stochastic oscillator. First, identifying potential overbought and oversold areas. So we already mentioned the simplistic way that you can do this. You can identify any print with the K line above 80 or any print with the K line below 20. That equals overbought and oversold. But it's not the only way we use it. We also use it to confirm trend. So if the percentage K line, percentage D line as a group are continuing to make higher highs and higher lows to kind of shadow the price, which is also doing the same thing, it's confirming your trend. Same thing goes in the downside. If the percentage D line, percentage K line are continuing to make lower lows and lower highs, and it's shadowing the price, which is doing the same thing, it's confirming the downward trend. Last but not least, you can identify divergences between the price action and the K and percentage D line. So here's what I'm talking about. When the stochastic oscillator diverges from price, it can signal a potential reversal. For example, if the price is making new highs, but the stochastic oscillator is making lower highs, this can indicate a bearish divergence. Conversely, the same thing is true when the stochastic oscillator making higher lows, but the price continues to make lower lows. You could have a bullish reversal in that case. So yesterday we talked about the money flow index, so I just want to compare and contrast the stochastic oscillator to the MFI super quick. Both the stochastic oscillator and the MFI are momentum oscillators, as we mentioned, that can be used to identify overbought and oversold conditions, as well as to identify potential reversals. Here are, though, some key differences between the two. Number one, the focus of both. The stochastic oscillator focuses on price momentum. However, from yesterday's lesson, we know the MFI looks at price and volume. So one is a bit more nuanced by taking two variables into consideration. The calculation as well is a little bit different. That kind of stands, obviously that's normal. The stochastic oscillator is calculated based on the closing price relative to that high-low range, whereas the money flow index is calculated based on a positive and negative money flow. Last but not least, the sensitivity of the two oscillators also diverges, whereas the stochastic oscillator may be more sensitive to those shorter term price swings. The money flow index is more sensitive to volume changes. So one really focuses more on price, the other one a bit more nuanced with price and volume, but with a heavier weight in volume. I hope everybody prints up this one.
All right, man, that was the good stuff there. I'm just paying attention.
Hey.
Maybe I get to using that stuff. But Sharif,
yes, sir.
DJT is breaking out. So the volume started to step in on that, guys. Just touch on this Amazon trade here real quick, why I decided to short it, looking for a move back towards VWAP. I mean, we had these definitive signals, guys, and you know I'll always keep an eye out on these. So just for confirmation, you can see that we're at an extreme high. We have that indecision doji, whatever you would like to call it, a gravestone doji, a shooting star, whatever it may be. And then we have this conviction on something else as well, too. So that's why as soon as we have that in extreme, that's a short signal to me. This indicates, hey, buyers pushed this all the way up here, had the inability to hold it, and then the bulls pushed it up, and then the bears pushed it right back down, creating this doji that I want to see at an extreme high or low. And then I'm going to just look for a move back to VWAP. I don't have much size left on it. So, I mean, we partialed out nicely on this one, looking for that move back to VWAP, but we may not get it here today. So that's just simple, guys. We did the VPA lesson. These are just key signals. Even though the volume signature may not be there, just look at the overall market. Like the Qs are an absolutely choppy mess. Today is a borderline dumpster fire stuff going on with the Qs. But again, it's the push and pull. And then you see that you have that indecision within the overall market. So therefore, you can get a little bit deeper of a pullback. But I want to pull up this on a daily perspective because Ryan Pedrick said something about a gap fill that I truly wasn't. Oh, okay, yeah, so that's beautiful. I already have it marked out. We have breached the gap there, Ryan. I'm going to wait to get back in because I do already have some swing positions open. So I don't know how much I'm going to be able to allocate to this one because I know someone in the chat, Easy Media, said, Joe, thanks for the calls on GE. I'm glad that you're killing that on GE, but I'm actually getting all giddy inside because the thesis is starting to plan out. And Sharif, you know me, when I get into something, I want to go heavy. So I have some capital on the side, some cash, some dry powder that I'm going to be looking to add. So unfortunately with this one, I just being totally frank, full disclosure, I was pennies away from getting stopped out. My stop was 175 on this. And then sure enough, it held and I'm like, all right, my position isn't too large. Great, I'm going to wait for this to come back. And as soon as we re-enter this gap, I'm going to start to push the size on that one. But there's some key things that I was reading on GE this morning because I seen that it was moving higher, but the stock short float has risen by almost 4% since the last report. So yeah, which is quite a bit. So I don't know if this is kind of squeezy, but again, I don't know if those are overly alarming numbers. I don't have too much data on that, but when you see that, it is slightly alarming compared to to its other peers as well too. So I'm just going to keep an eye on that. But I do think we re-enter this gap and then we get about a 40 to 50% fill. And then that's what I'm going to be looking to take a little bit off the top. But again, as soon as we re-breach this gap, I'm going to get involved in or add more to this position on this stock. So yeah, that's my plan on GE. And I'm glad Easy Media that you we're making some cash on that one there. And iBit's breaking out. I'm in iBit. And then I'm also in this Amazon trade that I just displayed to you guys. I don't have much size on it, but I'll pull up my iBit chart as well too. As you can see, price was starting to compress. We had these definitive resistance levels, and then we were just kind of forming higher lows throughout this kind of early opening drive, the morning auction. And I'm like, is this really going to recover? And Sharif and I were talking about Bitcoin as well too, just looking at it from a daily standpoint. What is going on right now is totally healthy. This pullback is absolutely totally healthy. The volume is dwindling on the sell side, and then sure enough, at any point, it can just, that volume, the buyers can step back in, they start a new buy program, and then that's when they're gonna start pushing price higher. Am I saying it's gonna happen right now? Absolutely not. But I think at some time in the foreseeable future, it's going to happen because of how long we were consolidating on Bitcoin, and then now we broke up, now over about 30% from that breakout level, 77K, up to just almost 100K. So I think this has some longevity to it. It's just gonna take a little bit of time because I know a lot of people have that 100K price target, but when I think we hit that 100K price target, Sharif, and we hit it with momentum, we're gonna go north of 100K, all right? So sitting around maybe 110, 114, but again, the price targets, said this before, every analyst and their extended family had 250K, 300K, 150K. So it's only a matter of time, I think, until this underlying asset hits those numbers, my friend.
I got to agree with everything you just said there, man. We talked to the NOS boss about, what the measured move on a $100,000 breakout would look like given the cup and handle pattern that preceded that. And, he unapologetically said, I believe 320,000 or 350,000, may seem lofty for now, but when we're there, it's not really going to seem lofty. So obviously we're not trying to predict what it's going to be, but just talking some technicals. All right, 3 trades I'm involved right now, all small cap gappers, all out of the money. So we're going to keep an eye out on this one right now because, here we go. This is the level that I liked for HSAI coming into the 10 exponential moving average. There we go. Let's get into that bad boy at this level over here. This is the level that I was waiting for. So let's see if we can get it now. We got to put in the stop. There we go. So let's get into that bad boy there. And all right, so okay. I love these advertisements because I can't see where I'm long. There we go. We're long 62.74s. All right, we're taking a print here. Let's hang out at 7. Let's hang out at 82s as well. See if we can continue to ascend here on HSAI. A beautiful move into the 10 exponential moving average. We already got printed there on the little pop-up. Let's see if we can get printed on 82s with obviously resistance at 8. You don't need to be a chartered market technician to see that rejection at $8. So keeping my eye on that one. Separately, I'm in Kodak. Only reason I'm in Kodak, not because it's moving a hell of a lot today. You can kind of see that it's not. But it did work into that $6.50 area, which also happened to be VWAP, which also happened to be that pre-market high that we printed at 8. I know those are institutional prints, but I'm still looking at them. So we're going to keep an eye on that. This one, though, breaking down LX. This one was supposed to be a 10 exponential retracement like the one I'm in on HSAI. I got to go back to that because it's really going up here. I got to take some more profits in the mid 90s. Oh. There we go. So we're going to hang out a little bit up here. Let's hang out at 02s. See if we can break. I appreciate you, Joseph. Let's see if we can move up there on HSAI. Now back to LX. So LX has the 20 exponential moving average at $4. Obviously, I don't like to base a whole lot on the 20 exponential, but there are times when the deeper retracements do come into the 20 exponential and hold up. This one is looking like right now that it's going to form a hammer candle because it did dip into 405s and now it's back at 412. So I'm unsure whether I should be adding here. This was not an area of support that I gauged. So I'm kind of hesitant to add at this level because it wasn't planned. But it is putting in a hammer candle that has about 30 seconds left to close. Decisions. I'm going to let that one cook. I don't want to add to it at this point. All right, nicely moving up here on what's called Kodak. Let's see if that one continues to run. HSAI, we've wet our beak, but still having trouble with H, Joseph. So I'm going to have to pack my patience there. What are you looking at over there, brother?
Yeah, I'm just here managing this Amazon position here. We're starting to pull back a little bit. We might get that initial leg down, and then we hit that target of VWAP here. But I mean, the overall market's strong. We were talking about the Mag 7 being strong, Microsoft as well too being strong, and that's a stock that I like. It's kind of been beaten down, chopping around, hasn't been doing too much, but it's starting to break out, and I'm starting to like the price action on Microsoft from a daily standpoint. Even though it is still kind of stuck in this range, I'm going to be keeping my eye on Microsoft because I do think that it can break out, and if it decides to do, there's one thing that it's going to do. It's going to drag a lot of the market up with it, and I say this a lot, Sharif, is that hey, I think in order for us to continue to move higher, we need these big names to participate. Breadth is great. It's absolutely great, but unfortunately, some of those mid-cap, lower-cap stocks aren't weighted enough to totally drag the market up with it. You need these big boys to participate as well, too. So I'm going to keep an eye on that. I'm going to wait. If we can break this 205.99, then I'm going to take a little bit more off. I don't have much. I only have about 20% left, not even, of that position. But as of right now, IBIT is working. It's breaking out. Rob EV, I know you said Bitcoin to the moon. Yeah, I feel it. I like it. I like Bitcoin to the moon. I will not be complaining about that whatsoever. Sharif, and I'm just hoping Sharif and I haven't missed our opportunity to even punch more on this thing, because if this pullback isn't as deep as we're anticipating, then we can get that leg up to 100K. And as of right now, it's kind of looking like that. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but from today's price action and how strong this breakout is this the pullback? Is this the bottom of the pullback? I don't know, but from a technical standpoint, it may be looking like it. So let's wait till the day finishes. Let's see how this candle prints on the daily, and that's going to determine a lot, because if that print finishes how it is right now, then I'm going to put more of my weight and more favor into the fact that, hey, that's as deep as the pullback was going to go. 92K was the potential bottom, but now we're going to take that initial leg higher, guys. So we'll pull up the chart because we've been talking about it. I don't know if I did already, but
you heard who he added for Treasury, right? I'm talking about Donald Trump. His Treasury secretary pick, the market's pounding the table. Yeah. They're so happy. So why I'm even waxing poetic about that is because you and I have been talking about this, but is it possible that Treasury holds Bitcoin as an asset? I think it just increased in likelihood.
Well, and one thing about that too, Sharif, is that it's a strategic play by the states as well, too, right? So like it can be an absolute race. It can become a gong show, and to the point where it's like who has the most Bitcoin in their reserve.
Straight up.
So and America, we know that they like to be number one, so it can definitely happen. So. And I think it is. I think it's going to get to that point. So guys, here we're going to take a look at this from a daily standpoint. And if this candle prints like this, I really like this indecision here on the potential pullback. And we were talking about the volume by time profile as well too, guys. So if this holds and then we get a sit on top of this 94, 95K, then I would not be surprised if we push and we make even more all-time highs on Bitcoin. So we're going to keep our eyes on that. But as of right now, Sharif, I'm going to take a little bit off the top here, and we'll send it off to you.
Absolutely. There's another one. I can't believe I didn't have this on the side charts today. I'm going to have to remove, let's see, who's not doing VC? We'll take this one off. QMCO. This is the multiple halter. I can't believe I didn't have this. This one we were obviously involved in yesterday. It's a lot more expensive today than it was yesterday, given its recent price accretion. So QMCO, let's throw that on there. This has halted today multiple times, I believe multiple times. Let me just fact check myself over here. Yes, both up halts today, guys, on QMCO. Big boy mover yesterday, and then, was it yesterday? The day before? No, it was yesterday. I'm not losing my mind. Yeah, it had a good move up yesterday, kind of gave back a lot of it in the afternoon. Are we above yesterday's high? So what is yesterday's high? 27.84. Oh, yes. We're at 28.70, so we're $1 higher already, and it is halted again to the upside. So now we've got 3 big boy halts on QMCO. This is the 1 minute on it. Let's flip to the 5. How do I get back into the, or how do I work my way into this stock? I mean, I hate to chase these multiple halters that are gapping up. Initially, I'd possibly be looking at 28 whole dollar level. It's also very close to that high day yesterday, so you could have buyers in and around there. Look, if I was to get in at 28, it would be like a quarter of the typical size that I would take. It's just I don't like taking these when they are squeezing. I like areas of predictable support and resistance off which to get it in. In addition to that, you guys have seen me talk about using the 10 exponential moving average on the 5 as an informal gauge of overbought and oversold conditions on these small cap gappers. And I'll submit to you, this is very extended using that methodology. How come? Because the 10 exponential moving average is at $23. This is halted at $28.70. So it's $5.70 higher on a $20 name. I don't know what that percentage is, but it's a lot. So what I'm going to look for is if this one to come in a bit. If it means missing the move, I miss the move, but I have to have some predictability in how I trade. So I'm going to let that one cook. But I did quite well over here on HSAI. So I took out that beak wetter at 802s, but it is coming down again now near my entry. So that's a third rejection now at $8. And here we go. It's coming right into my entry, so I'm going to de-risk a little bit over here, see if I can weasel some out in the high 70s, but it may not give me that because it looks like it is on the warpath down here. Did I move up my stop? Yeah, I did. So now I've only got a couple of more outs on HSAI. So if these two print, these two beak wetters that I've got here north of 8, fantastic. If it doesn't, then I get stopped out. We'll see which one comes first. KODK, boom. We took our first little print there. Appreciate you, Joseph. Through the break of 658. Now, it's not doing much. The only reason, again, I'm in Kodak at the moment was a VWAP hold. LX, so I added at what I perceive to be the 20 exponential moving average, and now I'm break even on this trade. We'll see if it does want to hold the 20 and then kind of curl back up, test those highs. The only thing I don't like about LX is the lack or the volume or lack thereof. So let's talk a little bit about this one. Sorry, Joseph, let me just see if we can throw up some details here on LX. It's a Chinese company, it looks like. Yeah, it is. 128 million share float with a short float negligible, about 1%. So not much in the way of that to help us today. Is there a headline on this thing? Let me find out over here. LX. Yeah, okay. So this one, I think it did, oh, here it is. Lexin, FinTech, Ram shares are trading higher after the company announced its board approved an amendment for a dividend policy to increase the payout ratio. And they also reported Q3 financial results. So that kind of might have something to do with it. Anyway, let's see if this one wants to curl back up. First beak wetter 18, second 22s. Let's see what comes, Joseph.
Yeah, for sure. My guy in the chat, Scotty E, is talking about AMD downtrend. I don't think so. He's like, yeah, I'm going to stay away from it for now, and I think that's a fantastic idea, man. I don't know. This thing's just giving me like Darth Vader vibes. I don't know. Love to hate. Yeah, man, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of AMD, but guys, if you go and check out our week ahead video that's posted on YouTube, I talk about AMD, and I'm talking about holding a specific level. And this is the key, and this is why I stated in that video is like, hey, I don't want to own any outright equity, but I still want to be able to profit off a potential bounce. And this is what I'm meaning. Imagine owning shares. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm long here, some shares. Well, okay, essentially I'm flat. I'm not making any money. But if I don't own any equity and I just create a credit-based trade to the point where it's like you're building a thesis saying, okay, yeah, I sold some 10 delta puts. I don't think that AMD is going to go below 125 by the end of the week, and you can still profit off that instead of owning outright shares. That's so much better of a game plan, in my opinion, opposed to just holding equity in a stock. In a company that is in essentially a downtrend. The sentiment is really weak on this stock. So until it turns around and you get those buy programs kicking in, then again, I'm not going to be looking to own any equities. I just want to profit off of credit-based trades without owning outright shares. So that was what my idea on this. And sure enough, it's playing out how I thought it would, because it's just selling off, and it gave back kind of all that move that it put in the past couple of days, guys. So that would be really frustrating from a stock holding standpoint. But guys, yeah, we're still holding IBIT. I really like how we're breaking out with strength here in the volume. You see the volume by time is starting to pick up. So that is an extremely key metric. So this can be a little more confluence or conviction within the setup and see what's going on. Yeah, exactly.
I meant to hit the bang button because we had a little
like
thing where
too.
anybody says Confluence, we hit the bang button because of your boy over there.
Oh, Obi, yeah, for sure. So he's got the old boy there going as well too. So, but yeah, guys, let's say, oh boy.
How's the chicken?
Yeah, I was literally just gonna ask that. Yeah, good stuff. And guys, I was just talking about Microsoft earlier. I do like this from a daily standpoint. Kind of been lagging some of the mega cap peers. You have Amazon that was making all-time highs previous week ago. Same with Meta as well too. And then Apple's just kind of hovering around those kind of levels. And Microsoft has just kind of been stagnant. But guys, I'm really liking this. This price action here is putting a little more conviction within a trade. And I do like it for a potential breakout here eventually. So we're going to look to set something up. I don't know if it's going to be options-based or anything like that, but I really like the way that Microsoft's looking. And I mentioned this earlier in the session, is that if we're really going to continue to make all-time highs in the overall market, we're going to need these big boys to participate as well too. So I'm going to be continuing to look at Microsoft, especially when it starts to break these key resistance levels, Sharif.
QMCO's going, guys. It's really breaking out here. $33 high a day. Just to give you some context, the low of the day today is $14.50. So the range on this is great. Now, the halt levels, where are they at? $29 or thereabouts. You can kind of see we halted there. Why am I talking about halt levels? Because I use them sometimes as intraday levels of support and resistance. We'll see if this one wants to weasel down to 29. I am likely not going to trade it given what it's doing right now. It's spready, it's wild, and it's hard to manage risk on this unless I got a really, really key level. I just wanted to mention it to you guys because we always talk about these small cap gappers and what kind of small cap gapper trader would I be if I didn't tell you about the one that's moving right now. So QMCO really going. Just hard for me to manage risk on this. I see the super chat. I'll get to it in one hot second, but I want to mention Mara because you guys are all talking about Mara in the chat. Absolutely, Mara having a decent day today. It's still well off the highs yesterday, 28.90 I think we got into. Right now we're trying to work our way back above 28. It's a nice break above this level over here, this 26.75 level on, that was basically, what time was that? That was 10:05. We broke above that level. So what I want to see is for us to come down, test this possible area crest, and I'll take a long off there. But MARA breaking out, it's up 4% today. So good look for Mara. I actually saw you guys talking about Lily. Your boy Lily, or your girl Lily, as Adara would say, is above that $800 again. In case you're wondering what's going on, looks like the Biden administration looking at including these GLP-1 weight loss drugs in Medicare. Or I don't know if they want to include them as covered drugs, drugs that are paid for by the government, or whether they want to include them in the upcoming negotiations that Medicare is supposed to have with drug companies, with the goal being obviously to drop those prices and make things a bit more cost effective for the government. So that's the look today. Have a look at Novo Nordisk. Lilly's moving. Amgen, by contrast, did have a positive phase, I believe phase 3 trial for their GLP-1. However, it only caused about a 20% weight reduction. The street was looking for 25. So it sold off, I think, to the tune of 10% on that news. Might be a buying opportunity. Not giving any advice. Just talking a little bit here. All right, so I did get boom on Kodak. Go, Kodak, go. We're going to take out some more there. Let's see if this one wants to weasel up and break that 670 area. How we doing? Okay, so we got stopped out for the last two outs there on HSAI, as it did break my area crest. So now this one making lower highs and lower lows, but a good trade nonetheless on it. Let's see what else we're doing over here. LX, we wet our beak at 14s. But that ain't the move. We're not looking at wetting our beak on a 1 or 2 penny winner. We want to take out tops over here. So I'm going to pack my patience on this one, see if this one wants to continue to the high side. All right, QMCO, as quickly as it halted up, as quickly as it's halting down. Halted down, guys, 27.54, still up 26%, Joseph. I'm just going to give everybody the information on QMCO super quick, and then we'll talk, and then I'll throw it to you guys. The float on Quantum Corporation, QMCO, 4.11 million share float, with a nice short float of 18.29. Not a bad look today. Days to cover 0.03. What's the RVOL on this monster? RVOL, where art thou? 23 times RVOL. So Ovi would love that number.
Really like that
Just
number.
kidding. So that's the look there. Joseph, what do you got?
Yeah, we're just looking to trim a little bit off this this IBIT trade here, Sharif. It's continuing to move to the top side. We're fortunate enough to just get in right at the breakout here. I seen that price was compressing, and we had the kind of this resistance zone. I'm like, okay, if this thing really wants to get moving, and sure enough, the volume started to kick in, and then we had a really precise entry on that one. So that's a good look there on IBIT, guys. And then we have our Amazon that we're still holding in, and it's kind of working out in my favor because I got a long and a short going on, which usually doesn't tend to always work out the best for me, but today is the day, it seems to be. So we like that. The overall market, the Qs are starting to pull back, looking like they want to break this key support level from an intraday standpoint. So is that going to drag the Amazon down with it? I think it will at some point. So let's take a look at the Qs really quick and see how they've been doing on the session. And I think it's been a little bit of a choppy mess on the Qs in the SPY the past couple of days, especially when you have NVDA not really wanting to cooperate with everybody. But we're up a whopping 0.34% on the session, and looking like we might break some potential support levels, which is always keep an eye on. One thing you do want to see is when we break it, I want to break it with some momentum, so keep that in mind. So MSTR 5-minute chart showing a good V-shaped recovery. Sure, let's take a look at that, Rob. EVMSTR, MicroStrategy. We like Michael Saylor. So again, let's take a look here. Yeah, nice V shape there. We like this recovery. Let's break it down on some lower time frames and see if we get any definitive signals here. Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit tougher to see here. But again, you do have some indecision. But again, throughout the whole earlier in the session, you have it throughout this primary downtrend. So you would just be getting chopped up if you were trying to play the reversal. But then you get it at an extreme low. Nothing really standing out to me saying, hey, I'm ready to turn around. But if you have the ability to catch this a little bit out of my price wheelhouse, it is sitting around $400 or so on that one. So a little bit spready. So, I mean, hey, yeah, it's turning around. We like what Michael Saylor's doing. We like how this guy put all his eggs in one basket, essentially, and it's just, he's a true believer. So
exactly,
yeah. So you can't really get more all in than what he's doing. So yeah, we'll always keep an eye out on that as well, too, guys. Let me know what in the chat. I'm not sure if the Qs is resistance or support. It's been in that range for quite a while now. Yeah, and that's what I mentioned, dear Ollie. Is that, I mean, I think it's a choppy mess. That's some price action that you don't necessarily want to see. Like all these candles overlapping each other, some mediocre volume going on here, and no really definitive direction. Well, sideways is a direction. But again, if you're looking to play a breakout trade on this, you're probably going to be getting chopped up, because I know I've experienced that before. It's like, well, why isn't it breaking out? Why are we just chopping around? Well, when you have so much push and pull, you have Amazon and Microsoft trading higher, and then you have NVDA and some of the semis trading lower. So that's where you get this kind of this push and this pull. But eventually, I think at some point, one party will win, and then you'll see a definitive direction. And as of right now, Sharif, it's looking like the Bears are slightly winning on this one as we go and test some potential day lows on the Qs. So let's see if Microsoft and Amazon can hold up the rest of the party. And I know Apple put in a pretty good day as well, too. So take a look. I haven't looked at the dead one, actually, today. Yeah, I haven't looked at it today. It had a dead one, man.
What is it doing, bro?
What is it doing?
Being dead.
Yeah. I mean, that's a tougher play. There's a nice
VWAP?
Yeah, that's VWAP there. So one thing that we do like is that, as you can see, we had a nice, strong opening auction, this 5-minute opening range, really strong, some continuation, and then we pulled back through VWAP, so you can see the elasticity in that, and then you have these indecision candles. So if I seen a strong opening drive, and then on the pullback, you have these indecisions at a potential low below VWAP, I would look to take a long here at the break of these candles, and then you take it from there. It barely made a new high a day, but it's still sitting up at $234 on the session, brother.
All right, so everybody's yelling about CDZI, or ZI, as my American friends would like to say. We say Z on this side of the border. Don't ask why, I don't know. Do they say Z in England?
I've never
That's
been
probably
there,
they
man.
probably
Have you
do.
ever been? Have you ever
Yeah,
been
they
to
probably
England?
do. That's
Have you
why.
been to
I would
England?
say. Yeah, he lived there. I went to school there.
Yeah.
Leicester.
Oh, wow.
For 2 years. It was
Hey.
probably the wrong city to live in, but
Yeah,
okay.
it was a little rough on the edges.
It was just a boring city.
Oh,
dog.
yeah.
About 2.5 hours north of London, East Midlands. Like there was just nothing around.
Nothing around.
No.
Hey, all right,
The only good
only
thing was
the
about like
pubs.
40 minutes from Birmingham. Birmingham's the second largest city there, so you could like have some fun. But London was number one was too expensive.
London.
Way too
Yeah,
expensive.
I heard. Yeah.
Well, because I was a student, I was broke. So anyway, CDZI, guys, moving. Let's talk a little bit about this one. Great looking chart on the 5, but we've got like an area of indecision now. We're zigging, we're zagging. We've got a bit of a range here from 465 down to 440, with the outlier being that 472. However, even though it does look like it's fading, look where it's at. It's near the high, it's above the 10 and every other moving average, and it's got equidistant topping tail and bottoming tail. What does that mean? That means there's an equilibrium right now happening between buyers and sellers, where no one side is winning over the other. So it's kind of like a stalemate at this point. Now, how do we work our way into this? Well, personally, I'd like to get something towards the bottom end of that range. That gives me, a definable area to say, okay, maybe this isn't the right trade. So for example, if I was to get in mid-40s, 440s, that is, I would have, that 10 exponential in the high 30s to kind of tell me, all right, well, it may be holding up here. If it's not, maybe you got to wait until around VWAP till 420. So CDZI, good look. Here are the details. CDZI. All right, guys, 44 million share float with about 11.5% of that 44 some odd million, or almost 44 million, borrowed for short. So a decent short float with an RVol today of an eye-watering 41. So it's doing volume, baby, and you can see that here depicted on the volume chart in the bottom. So how do we work into this? Good question. Oh, we're doing well right here on LX. Okay, LX, I see you, boy.
I see you.
All right, let's load up CDZI. I think this trades on the NASDAQ, and I am right. Let's have a look at the 1 minute over here and see how we can weasel in. Yeah, so that 440 is the level that I like. And it was also a level of resistance. We tried to break above it, albeit on the 1 again, rejected until you had that big volume candle that pushed it through. So what we can do is we can weasel in small share size over here just to get involved in the trade. So if it does break out, we got something to take. But it's already spready. It's a 3-penny spread because I tried to cross 2 pennies and it's not filling me. So right off the bat, we already know that there's some issues of illiquidity. There we got filled. So we're going to go ahead and put the stop exactly where I said I'd put the stop, at that 437 area. And if it doesn't hold up there, then, well, no worries. We'll look to do a little bit better. So where do I want to add on this, though? So I like it into the 10 exponential. Well, where's the 10 at? It's a little bit above my stop. So let's go ahead and throw an order here. I'm going to put it for mid-40s. Let's go 43, because I don't want to go 44, because that's an unlucky number. So we're going to go hang out there. And then if this one wants to continue to ascend, which it looks like it is doing, we're going to hang out with some beak wetters here at different levels. So there we go. Throw those out. See if they get filled. QMCO, guys, is coming down to the 10 exponential over here. Sorry to flip between them, but, these small cap gappers, they don't give you a lot of time to whiffle and waffle. So QMCO coming down to that $25 area where the 10 exponential is. Bang on LX. We take out that top at 423. Shout out to Jordan. So we'll set up.
That's a banger.
Thank you, bro.
Deserves one of these.
Hey,
Dang.
we'll look to take out the top there, Joseph, if we can at 425. So we'll layer an out there. Let's see how the other one's doing. Kodak,
Wow.
okay.
It's another.
It's not, killing it, but we're waiting for that 667. I didn't want to put it at 666s, guys. I don't want you guys to get the wrong idea up in this place. But we're waiting at 6.7s, so we're 6.67 on Kodak, up 6%. Only reason I'm in this, again, guys, VWAP hold. There was really no other reason. Lexter, 001, Sharif. Super Titan is stronger than Super Titan? Am I reading that right?
I don't
Can you
know.
help
I
me
don't
out here,
even
bro?
see it.
Super Titan is stronger than its grip. What does that mean?
I don't even know.
I don't know, bro. I'm old. You're going to have to explain this stuff to me, man. I'm not down with the new lingo. I don't know what any of that means. But let me know, brother. Shout out to Lexter01.
Shout out to you, even though I don't know.
No, bro. I can't say it.
Yeah.
All right, so that's a look there. All right, how we doing over here on the new CDZI? We're in no man's land, Joseph. Zagging a little bit above $0.50, a little bit below. pack our patience and see what comes. What's your look, my man?
Yeah. Our good buddy in the chat, the philanthropist Baker, says, Joe and Sharif, what are your thoughts / outlooks on Riot, short and longer term? I am playing some cash secured puts and covered calls. All right, well, we do know that we have Mara, and I think everybody understands my opinion and where I stand on with Mara, which is really unfortunate. And I don't know if it really changes too much with Riot because they are Bitcoin miners. So just keep in mind, again, I like that you have some cash secured puts. So you're looking like you want to get a sign on this at a potential lower price than what it's currently trading at. It's totally fine, and that's fantastic. One thing I will point out, though, and I feel like it can possibly happen, is that if Bitcoin just decides to go parabolic, like extremely parabolic, and go to a $250,000 or anything, it's almost borderline inevitable, Sharif. I don't know what you think about that. But these are going to start to appreciate as well, too, drastically, I think, at some point, right?
Well, because the thing, the value of the thing they're mining is going up.
It's going up, exactly, right? So again, just putting 2 and 2 together there, it's not rocket, or as Ricky would say, rocket appliances. It's definitely not rocket.
Or my friend, rocket science?
Yeah, rocket science. Yeah, it's not rocket appliances.
Immigrant, though, you know.
But yeah, Trailer Park Boys, guys, I know we're Canadian, and if you guys haven't got a chance to watch it, it's an all-time great show. But yeah, in all reality, guys, we'll hop back into this. Again, I think it's only a matter of time, especially if Bitcoin does start to appreciate. You get your price that you want there on the philanthropist. Then that's really good for you. Then it can just give you some more room to run. But as of right now, it's just tough. It's so expensive and it's so energy inefficient to mine Bitcoin. So I think a lot of these miners are losing a lot of money to just having to power their operations. So just keep that in mind. I do think these things will appreciate in price, but it just might take a little bit of time on that one there, brother. What do you got going on?
I'm looking at QMCO, Joseph, because it's got a bunch of bottoming tail candles on the 5, and here's what I'm looking at right now. Call me crazy, but I want to trade this bad boy over here because there's a lot of profitability potential for this bad boy. By the same token, there's a lot of risk potential given how it's trading, but the bottoming tail candles here are what are catching my attention. Every time this dips down into that mid 25, low 26s, there's an army of buyers picking that up off, you guessed it, the 10 exponential dang moving average on the 5. I could try to say, oh, let me get in on the first 5-minute candle to make a new high on a closing basis on the 5. That's a great strategy for some of these larger cap names or something that's, predictably trending. This one, the bottom can drop off at any time. So I don't want to use that strategy. I'd rather try to get in on the low end of the range. Otherwise, I don't want to trade it at all. It's hard to manage risk on this. You can lose dollars at a time. Say you either take negligible size and hope for a $2, $3 move so you can make real money, or you take big boy size and then take the risk that comes with that if it goes against you. So I hate these dilemmas in any event. So we'll keep an eye out on this one. QMCO is the one that I'm talking about right now. Good look for it on the day. All right, we're printing, though, on some other ones over here. Bang on LX. We just took out that high of the day at 26s. Now I've set up my beak wetter now at 33s. Where am I long? I'm long 13s. So not a bad look. Let's see if this one continues to ascend. Kodak still hanging out at the highs, but that 667 price target elusive at the moment. All right, what are we doing here on CDZI? I took a beak wetter there at 60, but that ain't the move. Let's see if this one wants to fill me. I've been waiting for a planned dollar cost average at 443. I've still gone unfilled as this one really is ranging, perhaps putting in a bull flag. That's really the only reason I've got that dip trade there. On this one, I didn't take the full position. I'd like to get in or build my position towards the bottom part of that bull flag. What is a bull flag, guys? In case you're a little bit newer, it's exactly what you see on your screen right there. A big directional kind of, I don't want to say uninterrupted, but pretty directional move up. And then there's a period of whiffle and waffle. The whiffle and waffle is a consolidation period. Sometimes they look different. It can be a pennant, where you get higher highs and higher lows, or lower lows and lower highs, but you don't give up the majority of the move, or it can be, or that's a flag, sorry, or it can be a pennant, where it's a compression, where you get lower highs but higher lows, kind of meeting in the middle, and then you take the breakout of the top trend line. Because the textbook says the breakout typically happens in the direction of the original trend. And you don't need to be a chartered market technician, again, to see what the trend is. Just look at the percentage. So I'm looking at getting filled at 443 on CDZI. I'm currently 1 penny out of the money, but I did wet my beak there on some profits. Let's throw another profit target up there in, I want to say, the high 60s. Why not sit at 69s? Whatever. We'll sit at 69s there. Only reason is because it's very much near the top. So I want to see what we get. Okay, LX is going, man. LX just printed a new high a day, 428. I'm still waiting at 33s. Let's see if this bad boy wants to continue to go. And I just noticed that I didn't even look at all at the MAG. So let's go and weasel our way over to the MAG 7, see what's going on over here. Okay, Google. Okay, Google, I see you. Google's coming into high a day. It wants to take out that 169.16. It's printing 10s right now. So Google, beautiful higher low, higher high situation, taking out the implied balance high that we put in the earlier trading session. So goggles on the way up. Your boy Meta as well, looking like it wants to hold up at that 20 exponential. It did the 20 exponential dance where every single closing print was north of that 20. It did wick, but now look at that, kind of curling. Wants to take out that 575.50 again. Ultimately, though, the high of the day, 577.50. Good look for META. Amazon working its way down into the volume weighted average price. This doesn't look as scrumptious as some of these other MAG 7 names. I'm talking about you, Google. I knew Neil would like that. I'm talking about you, Google. I'm talking about you, Meta. Amazon doesn't look as good right now. Apple, Joseph, holding up at the volume weighted average price, so no change since you pulled it up there. Holding VWAP is the dead one. Apple. Tesla, kind of, I don't know what kind of pattern this is, man. This is just a whole lot to digest over here. I'm not trading that. Let that one go. And then your boy NVIDIA seems to have held the closing print from yesterday, 136.04, the low of the day, 136.17. And look at what happened subsequent. Higher lows, not higher highs, though. 137-ish does seem to be a bit of a top. Could we get a flat top break and a move past the volume weighted average price above that 137.30? NVIDIA is putting in higher lows with a flat top. I won't be convinced differently, and that flat top has been hanging out since we gave up the ghost there at 137 at around 1025, Joseph. So we'll see what this one wants to do. What's your look on that side?
Yeah. I like what NVIDIA is kind of doing right now.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, flat top, as we're forming kind of higher lows there. So let's see if some volume can step in, and then it looks like we might play the potential. Show me, guys. Did you see what you got cooked up there?
I did. I thought I had I thought I only had one more out, Joseph. We've got another one, so we're gonna layer another order up in this. You know what?
All right, throw another one up there. Yep. So yeah, guys, we're gonna keep our eyes out on NVDA. We kind of like the pattern that's forming. We do have this definitive resistance zone. If it does break that with some momentum, then we can look to participate, and then we can look to break through the volume weighted average price as well too. So we'll always keep our eye on that one. But as of right now, I'm just gonna take it as it's not ready just yet. We're gonna want to see that volume step in. All right, guys. So we'll keep an eye on that. The Q's still slightly bit of a hot mess, which is totally fine. But I'm all out of the Amazon trade here, guys. The dark pools are here to kill me. So unfortunately, let's take a look here. I got all out. So as you can see, I played that indecision, that doji candle, that gravestone, whatever you want to call it. And then sure enough, we got all out somewhere around here, guys. So that is the Amazon trade. I'll display it more after I work on those dark pools, whenever we send it to Sharif. But as of right now, we're just going to continue to look. We're pulling in a little bit here on iBit, Sharif. So we'll just hold off. Let's see if we can hold this resistance zone. And then I think if we do, then maybe we take another leg up. But as of right now, we're going to send it off to Neil.
Get it, Neil.
Your lesson of the day is, and I've heard the line before, and you've probably heard it before, that history doesn't always repeat itself, but it often does rhyme. Well, one thing that you should consider when trading is that everybody is looking at past data to inform their trades. When you're looking at the chart, you're looking at what's happened in the past. So we can all see the same things in price action previously. So when a long setup or a short setup or an explosive trade sets up at a price where it's already had some good action, you can pretty much guarantee that there are going to be traders that are anxious to get involved at that price. And that can crowd a very specific trade because Stocks have memory because traders have memory. And I'm going to give an example of what you can sometimes expect, which can be still a good trade, but not necessarily as big as what you might have hoped for. Now, Tesla is the real reason why this is the lesson of the day, but there's an example here on GameStop that I can point out. Whether it's the day before, the day before that, or maybe even a few sessions before, when you have a setup, and I'm specifically talking about yesterday's breakout on GameStop, now you can see the confluence with this level at about $28. You go to the previous day, at the end of the day, it's resistance underneath, it's consolidation, breaking away above, it's resistance here, it's support there, and then going all the way back to the 20th, only a few days ago, ends as support. But look at the volume come into this breakaway move. Volume comes in on break of 28, dips, supports 28, and then ramps to 30, and then closes holding 28 as support. That's the key price. So when you put in some lower highs going into 28, anybody knowing 28 is a key level is going to like this breakaway. However, this makes it a pretty obvious setup at that 28 for it to go. And you also have the price action of the following 2 days, how it responded to that move. High of 30, well, everyone's thinking resistance. Topping out the next day at the open just underneath the 29, just above the 29 level. So when you look at this move, maybe you temper your expectations that you're going to get to 30 because of the overhead resistance that's put in on the stock. And when you see that, you can't expect the same move because everyone and their mother that's taking the 28 is hoping for a move into 30. And then you recognize, well, where is this thing stalling out? If it has history for 28 to matter, then why wouldn't it press into this high? There's an out. If you reloaded it, great. Now you've got this move twice from 28 to 28.70. And then all of a sudden you know the higher low is going to be another level as well. So there's that 29.25. You don't worry about that 30 level as much. And again, it's just about finding a way to complete the trade thesis, which is not to keep it at, hey, 28's great, 30's resistance, let's just get $2 out of it. No. Understand what you're up against and who might also be trading this. Now, the example and the reason why I'm bringing this one up is actually Tesla, which I was in. I mean, GameStop, we took a trade, but it had nothing to do with that 28 level from previous days. However, Tesla, the long that stands out on Tesla should be obvious. Obviously, the shorts here are pretty big. But this long right in here 2 days ago at $345. That's the big one. Now, you can see you have some key levels here before that. That day, 345. In here, 347.5. Those are two big levels on the way to the upside. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so we can get past that. There's your breakaway. It chewed through that to not even stall until it got to 355. So obviously, the day that it broke, that 47.5 meant literally nothing, and it just blew right through it. Now, yesterday, did it matter? Yeah, first support was back at that price. Second support was back at that price. End of the day, resistance at that price. So the second time through, when this sets up the same trade, support off at 339 early, trending higher, higher lows into a flat top break at 345, when everyone can see the same thing that went $10 before, do we think the resistance should matter today? That 347.5 when you've got confluence the next day for it? Yes. So what happens? It breaks 45, clean to that 347.5, instant reversal, pulling right back in there. And this is where you've got to be nuanced in your trading and understand that the more times a very good price level and trading opportunity presents itself, the more eyeballs are likely to be on it. And if there's more people looking at the same breakout that just worked for $10 2 days ago, well, then there's more people looking for exits on that scalp trade, on that short-term trade, which leads to an obvious resistance level on the chart, more likely to step up and hold because you have more people trying to exit at that level. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. So it's a pretty simple and uncomplicated lesson today. GameStop, one example from 4 days ago off 28, Tesla, the 345 break. And it's not to say you don't take that trade that sets up, but what you might want to do is ask yourself, hey, if it worked so great last time, you're probably up against a few more traders here or in it with a few more traders. Maybe respect the fact it's not likely to move just as much as it did a couple of days ago because of that resistance. And then find where that resistance is probably going to lie. The other side, which I think would be the alpha move here, would have been to look for a reversion off 347, which clearly I could have done, didn't do, but now we look back in hindsight, and that's what the lesson is all about. Finding those other opportunities to maybe slap in a reverse, not hold on to some to trail back in. Why? Because you've got to consider your counterparty. And it's not just your counterparty, who are you trapping short at a resistance level when it breaks out at 345. It's also who is trying to still buy this at the top of the move. Who's trying to buy it at the top of that move when it's now shown resistance at that level a couple of days before? When everybody knows it's a crowded trade. It's different when it's going the first time and busting out that level. But when it's already given the pull back in and shown this level has more influence, then who's really going to be buying it out and about? You'll have less buyers, you'll have more sellers at that key price, which means you've got to find a way to take your profit inside of the range. Not every trade is going to be a home run just because it was a home run off that level 2 days ago or the day before. Sometimes a home run trade turns into a single or double the next day, but you should still be willing to swing at it because you know it's good. Good pitch, just get on base and move on to the next. That's your lesson of the day.
You got to love the baseball metaphors because he's all about baseball. He's a season ticket holder. That doesn't happen by accident. You know what I mean? Shout out to Neil. Informative, eloquent, and just all around awesome as always. Neil Roberts every day around that new time. Thank you very much for the lesson of the day, Joseph. All right, quickly, guys, we forgot to throw on the poll, so the poll is active now. Get into the chat. There's some good ones to talk about. Let's talk a little bit about why we threw these on. We're going to throw on another poll at 1 o'clock, so you've got an hour to get your votes in. We got Rivian on the receiving end of more government money. Everything's fine. IBIT, as Bitcoin comes a bit down, I'm going to be adding to my IBIT position. I'm just full disclosure over here. You know I got baby shares. Intel also getting government money. You see the theme here, Joseph?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there's a lot of government money being thrown around here. And then CrowdStrike. Why did we throw on Crowd? Yeah, Joseph voted for Crowd. I threw my weight behind IBIT. The reason we threw Crowd on there, CrowdStrike reports today, and it's been shellacked. Well, it's recovered a little bit as of late, but I want to see exactly how they guide, how they speak about the companies after that whole, or their relationship with companies after that whole debacle in the summer with the outage, this, that, and the other. Get your votes in, baby.
Sorry to interrupt you there, Street, but absolutely look at this recovery on CrowdStrike.
That's
Look at
a hell
this
of a recovery.
Absolute massive recovery. Yeah. Up over 70%. After the sell-off, still up over 70% on the year, 20% month to date. And guys, you know what I did on this trade. I talked about it many times. I played the gap fill. I was out so early, I was out so prematurely, and it's slightly frustrating. But I think this stock absolutely recovers, as I just mentioned, up over 73% on the year, 20% on the month. This thing is absolutely starting to buzz. Jeez. And then the expected move, Sharif, I was going to get you to fact check me on this, but I think it's about 7.8% that the options market is pricing in here, a potential move on CrowdStrike coming up at after the bell. So that's something that I'm going to be keeping my eye on, and I think you are too, because you have Palo Alto.
Dub, yeah.
Exactly, you got Pan Dub going. Yep. So we're just going to keep our eyes on this thing. I think this one can absolutely move. Is it going to break these all-time highs here around 398? I don't know about that. It's going to need a lot of momentum and a great report, especially after what happened here. But it's definitely possible. I think that this can possibly happen. I don't know about today, but if we get that really big move, we beat the expected move, we're going to be testing these levels, because I've seen a lot of open interest around the 400 level. I don't know if it's going to be a hedging possible hedges or whatever it may be, but just keep in mind we have those open contracts, those outstanding contracts sitting around 400. So I don't know what this is going to tell us, but just keep your eyes open, because if CrowdStrike decides it wants to move, did you see the expected move?
Yeah, I got it ready for you, man.
Yeah, what do you got there,
Okay,
brother?
So it's 8.8%, Joseph.
Okay, yeah,
so you got.
I had 7.8. I had 7.8.
Yeah, same. I mean, it's same
roughly,
thing.
Roughly.
Yeah, we got 8.5. Excuse me, 8.5.
Okay.
So we got a whole bunch of companies reporting
yeah.
today after the bell. Let's take an opportunity to do this. Guys, Dell, they don't just sell computers anymore, baby. We all know they're selling AI servers, and NVIDIA had Michael Dell, or the NVIDIA conference. Jensen welcomed Michael Dell first row. He's been courting him. So keep your eye out on Dell. I'm all ears, baby. I want to hear how the AI business is doing and whether or not that Blackwell is actually heating up or that was just, you know, a way to bring down the price and buy more. So Dell, obviously, Joseph Waxing put about this. CrowdStrike, going to be a big one. Workday, look at this previous move, up 12.5%, expected move 9.5%. We got plenty on there. Autodesk, another big hitter. HP, kind of the same play as Dell. You know, they're not really, well, they're selling PCs, of course, that's not what I'm trying to say, but they are trying to diversify in that AI server game. We got, what is this? A Newton, whatever, man. Nordstrom, Urban Outfitters, Joseph. We got Guess. So we got some more retail in focus. So make sure you are with us on that market recap show. No doubt about it. It's going to be a hot one. Neil on the ones and twos for that bad boy today. So make sure you're hanging out with us after the bell.
Man,
all right.
Sorry. I remember when I was like in my earlier 20s, like really early 20s. All I used to wear were Guess jeans. I'm like, I'm not putting anything else on me unless it was Guess. Yeah. But sorry, Shreve, I want to just cover the super chat before I send it off to you here. JV, Joe, time to start shorting Ross or buying puts, ROST. So Ross stores, and I said to him, I don't see any definitive signal for me to be like, hey, I want to short this thing, because as of right now, this price action does not indicate any form of short. And then I went in and I broke it down on the lower time frames. I went to the 5 minute. It's not the most liquid. Again, nothing is telling me to short this stock. From a price action standpoint, we'll go a little bit, we'll give it 2 hours. Again, there's no signal here saying, Joe, short me, because I think this is still potentially looking like it wants to move to the top side. But I just wanted to cover that super chat. JV, thank you for the $2, and that's my 2 cents on Ross. I just don't see any reason to short this thing just yet.
Respect that. All right, guys, let's talk about some of the trades we're involved with right now. So Kodak, I just took it out at 668. Still 3 more outs on this one. I want to see if it wants to test the high of the day. So let's layer a beak wetter at 70s. And then we're going to put another one at, what's life without Whimsy? We'll go 74 to front run that $0.75. Let's have a look at the other one, LX. Still holding 4 outs on this one. This one did take out the high of the day, but sadly, I did not have a beak wetter north of the one that I had, so we've put it at 38s, now curling back up to 30s after zigging and zagging with that 22. We'll see if this one wants to continue the trend up 26.5%. Looks to be good. We'll see. This one, though, I don't know, but this one, we're about 7 pennies out of the money on CDZI, and what is concerning me about it is it's in no man's land. I don't have a read. Let me explain what I mean. So CDZI, look, it's not at the 10. It's not at the 20, and it's not at VWAP. It is in no man's land, and also there's no discernible trend right now. We had umpteen amount of candles of indecision. Candles of indecision typically have equidistant wicks on the top and the bottom. That means there's a bit of an equilibrium there, hence why I call them candles of indecision. And then subsequent to that, we dropped, but we dropped below the 10. We're not at the 10, we're not at the 20, and now we've got no trend here for the last, I want to say 15 minutes or so. Maybe some higher lows, but I'm not going to put too much stock into that. What I like about it is that we're not breaching, we're not working our way down into VWAP quite yet. I've already got my stop set up on this one. If it wants to breach that 430 area, I'm going to get out. And then if it wants to hold up that VWAP, I can reinstitute the trade. There's nothing preventing me from doing that. I'd rather not do that, obviously, but we'll have to wait and see what the market gives me. CDZI involved in it, the only one that's really kind of not working out as well at the moment. Now, HSAI, let me tell you, I mean, I didn't play this one right in the sense that I should have held on a little bit more and been more alive to where the price action was. Here's what I mean. So if you breach the 10 in this fashion, all right, fine, get out. But look what this candle did. This candle was a hammer candle, and it was proven by the fact that the candle subsequent to it was green and made a new high and didn't even come close to the low. So I should have been more alive to that. That was an opportunity to get back in. And since it did that little dance, it's about 50 pennies higher. So HSAI is in play, baby. It's up 73%. Just because I'm out of it doesn't mean it's out of. Oh, look at that! It's breaking local highs. 8 1/3. Here it goes. 855 HOD. We're like 20 pennies off that right now. So the trend continues to the high side over here on HSAI. So we'll keep an eye on that one. Let's see what else we got over here. Let's weasel on over to the Mag 7. Yeah, not much in the way of anything for me today. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna have to force myself to trade the Mag 7 just because everybody's interested in them. But I gotta tell you the truth, I haven't been jiving with these bad boys on an intraday basis lately. But this one over here, Joseph, Amazon at VWAP and 205.50. It is kind of the level there. I wouldn't have a dip trade on it, but I'd keep my eye on it to see if it wanted to hold that level. Volume weighted average price, Amazon, guys. Oh, quickly. I got to remind you guys again, the poll, 300 votes just ain't going to cut it. I know that the poll is laid, and I'm sorry, it's on me, really nobody else, but we're going to need more than 300, especially if we're going to get another poll in 40 minutes. So get into the chat right now. Rivian, IBIT, Intel, and CrowdStrike. Rivian, because they got money. Intel, because they got money. IBIT, because we got a bit of a pullback in Bitcoin, and CrowdStrike reports after the bell after being down quite aggressively in the earlier part of the year. But as Joseph showed you, one hell of a recovery there off the lows, Joseph.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Come on, guys, make sure you guys get those votes in. Let's pump CrowdStrike here on the votes because we want to talk about that one. We like CrowdStrike. We played CrowdStrike a couple weeks ago, so come on, let's talk about it.
Bang.
We'll get Neil and Obi to talk about that one, guys. So get those votes in, please, and thank you. So yeah, guys, I know a lot of people are mentioning in the chat GME potential bull flag, and I agree on that. Let's see if some volume can step in. Sharif and I were talking about GME earlier off camera, and I'm like, you know what, man, I don't love it. He's like, I kind of like it. I'm like, I don't like it. So you know what I mean, which is totally fine.
Each their own.
Yeah. It's each their own, right? And I just think because of the short flow was so big last time around when everybody got into that craze, that is like, okay, yeah, this is fun. It pumps up to 65 or whatever it is, but the short float isn't the same. It's still not, the metrics aren't the same in order for it to do that. So I'm sorry if I'm breaking anybody's heart, but again, it's totally subjective, right? It's just my opinion on it. I think it's gonna be really hard for this thing to ever get back up there. So again, that's my opinion, totally subjective on GME. But guys, we're still holding off on some IBIT here. See, look, I mentioned this earlier. If we can just pull up my chart perfectly. Perfect. I said, okay, I'm looking for what was once previous resistance to become support. And then sure enough, we get that bounce. We have this indecision candle at the low of the pullback, at the low of that retracement. And now that underlying asset is starting to bounce off of those key resistant levels, now acting as support. So keep that in mind. I like this for a bounce. Are we going to go and test high a day? I'm not too sure about that. But one thing I will be keeping my eye out is that we do start to recover. And if that momentum kicks in, because as you can see from the volume by time profile, that on this pullback, it is relatively significantly weaker than what it was when we were when we were moving and appreciating in price. So just always keep in mind, an eye out on the volume by time, because I think it's such a key metric that you need to use to implement into some strategies. All right. So I know someone in the chat was asking me about the MFI today, Sharif, and I said,
yes, sir.
He's like, yeah, Joe, why are you still short Amazon when the MFI is kind of saying that it's oversold at the time? At the time, I said, well, you know what? I don't really use the MFI, and that's totally fine. You need to find what works for you and then just become as good as you can at it, right? So you have whatever criteria that you have, if you want to use MFI or the oscillators that Sharif was mentioning today as well too, the moving averages, stick to those, build yourself enough sample set, enough data in order to be like, hey, this is how I base my trades off of. And that's what I do. When I talk to you guys about volume price analysis, the volume by time, and key levels, these are the metrics that I use. It doesn't mean you have to use it, Sharif has to use it. These are just the metrics that I use in order for me to be able to read what the market can potentially be doing, because that is also subjective. The way you interpret something can be, I interpret it, you can be looking at it from a totally different perspective, and we can still come out with the same outcome, all right, guys? So just make sure, find something that really works for you, and then just learn how to exploit that and stick to it, build data sample sets, and then absolutely take it from there.
See who's in the chat?
Who's in the chat?
We got Putin in the chat, bro.
Putin?
Yeah, he's trading from Russia.
Is he?
Yeah.
What's he trading?
I don't know. Maybe, what would be funny here? L3 Harris?
L3 Harris, yeah.
Raytheon, maybe?
Yeah, LMA, Lockheed.
He's trading, what is he trading on? SMR and Oklo. He likes that nuclear. Oh, come on.
Ooh, I was gonna say.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
I was just regurgitating what he was saying.
I was going to say Lockheed Martin, but...
Old got dark there, eh?
Yeah,
Old got real dark.
We're going down that path, so I don't know. Yeah. Choppy market is right. Panthic, Sanjeev, I said that. So,
all right. Joseph, I just want to mention... everybody's talking about the minutes today. We get the minutes at 2 o'clock. People asking, are those market moving? Sometimes they are. Most of the times they haven't been lately. The market usually already knows all the information or has discounted, for the to use that term, all the information typically thrown in the minutes. We do sometimes get something novel. It's not all the time, but yeah, just be on the lookout. 2 o'clock. The Fed minutes gives an insight into what they're thinking, how they see the economy going, what their future. I don't think it's a dot plot, but sometimes we get commentary about future rate projections and stuff like that. So just be ready for it. 2 o'clock Fed minutes. Sometimes it has a way of moving markets. Sometimes it's a nothing burger. You're going to have to find out. So here we go. LX. This one continuing to hold the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. So I don't want to move down my beak wetter, which has been hanging out at 39s. We'll continue to watch that one. This one, though, I don't know what to do with CDZI. I really feel like I don't have a read, but it's not breaking the level that I've earmarked for a stop, so I'm not going to get out. I'm only 7 pennies out of the money, so this really shouldn't be a reason for me to get out. But the fact of the matter is, it's printing lower lows and lower highs. That's what it's supposed to do, though, if it bull flags, right? Because we know the flag pattern, you get that big move up. That's what we're looking at here. And then usually we get a downward channel, or sometimes if it's very bullish, an upward channel, less often. And then you get a breakout from the downward channel. So just to explain what I mean by downward channel, let's just draw. Oh, that's not the one we want right there. That's the one we want. All right, so we'll draw these, touching the highs. And then the same thing with the lows. So you get kind of that downward channel. And then the book says when you get a breakout of the upper trend line is when you're supposed to get long. Obviously, it's never really that simple, but just to explain to you guys why I'm still holding this, despite the fact that it's continuing to print lower lows and lower highs. We'll see how this one ends up manifesting, but I've got my eye on it, baby. All right, what else we got over here, man? Is anything moving anew? Okay, there is. We have a new entrant in small cap gapper world. It goes by the ticker IMG. So this one didn't make its way onto my scanner because it was sub 85 pennies, but that's my filter for these scanners, by the way. It has since retaken that level, and you know how I feel about these midday small cap gappers. Here's what I mean by that. The ones that get the bulk of the move, the meat of the move, not in the pre-market, not in the open, but midday. We're not trying to take over scraps, trying to get, in on areas of support and resistance. This is actually moving anew right at 1210. So it's 60 minutes old right now with that high a day at 115, but I'll submit to you, it's a different trade north and south of $1. You gotta get far enough away from $1 in order to use it as resistance. I'm gonna go ahead and say 15 pennies just ain't enough, especially with where it's trading right now at 105. So number one, let's see if the dollar is the area of support that we possibly anticipate it to be. If it is, and it really gets away from $1, then we'll start looking at weaseling into the trade over here. First and foremost, though, I want to see that 115 break and take. We're printing 107, 108. So show me that you can continue to print new highs. So IMG in focus right now. Can you read HTML?
HTML?
Yeah.
I have no idea what that is.
HTML, like internet language, like for websites and stuff like that. Hypertext markup.
Well, as soon as I said it, I don't even know what HTML is.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The only reason I say that is because
HTML,
HTML, anyone who can write HTML knows how to insert an image. It's IMG SRC, right? Image source. Fabian, back me up on that. He has no idea what I'm talking about.
He has no idea.
Yeah, he has no idea.
So
IMG, there we go. It just took out the high there, Joseph. So now we got to get serious with this one. Just took out 119. So let's go ahead and load this up. I'm going to take out QMCO, IMG. I think this trades on the NQ, and I'm right. There we go. So let's see how this one wants to do. It's continuing to zig and zag over here. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and take a dip trade here at lucky number 7 for small size. If it wants to dip into 7, great. I'll get, you know, my entry level. It's not going to dip into 7. Here it goes. It's going, guys. 120, now 122, the high of the day. I know, right? It's gone. 92%. I mean, I'm wishing over here that it dips into my level. But IMG, guys, it's really going 89%. Here is the information on IMG. Okay, I have very little. It's about 1.94 million float, and I don't have a short float on it. The R-vol today, a light 33 times regular volume on this one, relative volume, excuse me. So IMG, yeah, I'll keep watching this one, but I'm not going to weasel into it too quickly there. It's just awfully volatile. Kodak breaking down. Okay, so we've taken out the majority of the position, but I don't want to give up anything over here, especially if it breaks down below 660. So I may move up my stop on this. How's my CDZA? Oh, it's doing nothing still. So we'll continue to hold on to that. That one ain't it. Let's get in, man. What's going to happen? What's life without whimsy over here? We're going to get in on IMG. There we go. We're long. Come what may. What are you doing there with Doge?
I'm over here looking at GME because I know a lot of people in the chat were mentioning this, and I was like, am I interesting? I seen Neil in the chat say, oh, it's kind of going without me, but then he's like double top as well too. So I like how he pointed that out. But one thing I'm going to keep an eye on is this volume. So if we're really going to break out, then we're going to see this volume continue to accelerate and pick up. But as of right now, it is holding these levels. So keep in mind, if this volume by time profile does pick up, then maybe we can see if this thing can continue and potentially make new highs of days. But again, as I mentioned before, I'm not really one to be trading it, even though it's not overly memey right now. But again, I just think there's better opportunities out there than me playing GameStop. Like, I don't know. Like, everybody buys their games online now, and the brick and mortar aspect of purchasing games is almost out the window. And if you do, you have places like Walmart where you can just go and buy it, and Target for people who are in America, and Best Buy and stuff like that. So yeah. So he's got a lot going. But guys, as of right now, it's moving. So that's good. That volume's keeping up. So yeah, if you're in that GME and you're playing the break of this 31.25, that break of that resistance is looking pretty good for you. So congratulations to all of those in GME. So guys, yeah, I mentioned this before on iBit. We're still holding on to this. We are holding that resistance level, so let's see if we can continue to hold. Let's take a look at the actual underlying asset here, Bitcoin. And I said if this prints as a hammer down here, this could be a signal. Potentially, I can be very wrong. Don't get it twisted. But I do like this for a potential stopping signal. And then we can take that additional leg up. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if it broke to the downside and then we go and test like mid-80s. But again, if this prints as a hammer, then I think that we can potentially go to 100K. So I'll be keeping my eyes on that. But as of right now, I don't got anything really cooking up. Like, we can take a look at the Qs. Qs right now. Yeah, a dumpster. I need a dumpster fire thing going on because this thing is absolutely brutal. Yeah, man, it's tough. It's tough. If you're looking to play a breakout on the Qs, then you're probably just getting chopped around or getting little price movements, and there's no real volume stepping in. So that if this is what I'm looking at on the Qs, and this is from a daily standpoint, I would definitely look to condor this for a week or two, so you can play that like 509, or play the high end 510, and then the 507 would be an absolutely fantastic condor. I don't know about doing that intraday because it may break out. But it can work. I never really played condors from an intraday perspective, always from a longer time frame, but sometimes they work, especially on choppy days like this. So this gives you another tool in your playbook, Sharif, when you have kind of those choppy price movement days.
All right, man. I entered, and I'm happy that I did because we wet our beak multiple times. All right, we're zigging and zagging here, guys. 3 outs already on IMG, SRC. No, it's not SRC. I'm living my old 90s days. I saw someone in there in the chat. It's like, yo, bro, HTML is so 2000s. In other words, just call me an old ass. So that's kind of where it is there, but it's the only computer language I know. Well, I know a little bit CSS too, so that's not bad. All right, anyway, beak wetter at 133. Next beak wetter there, we're going to take it out at 137s if it wants to go. It's over 100% right now in Greensville, so we'll see if this bad boy wants to continue. Don't have too much data on it, just know the float, don't know the short float. So be careful with this one. It did make its way sub $1. So they sometimes, not all the time, they tend to have, you know, their moment in the sun north of $1 and then seem to weasel down. It's not a hard and fast rule. I've placed my stop below 14s, so if it breaks down below 14, I will get out, and then I'll look to defend that dollar area for a better adjusted cost basis there. So that's my move on IMG. Let's see what comes. And yeah, we'll talk about it then. LX continuing to hang around at that 4 1/3. Looks like there is a seller of note at 432, despite the fact that I got filled at 433. Look at all these holdups, area holdups at 432. So don't know what's going on with that one. Gonna pack my patience. Kodak still at 665, but I'm going unfilled here at 70 and 74. So we'll have to keep an eye on that one. And what's CDZI doing? Really doing its best. Nothing right now. Hanging out between 435 and 445 or 450. We're long, where are we long? CDZI, I think we're long 49s. Yeah, so we're exactly 5 pennies out of the money right now. Why are you laughing? Because I got 4 positions? Yeah, I look like Sean right now with like 4 positions, bro.
That's crazy.
That's really
You're
not
killing them all, though. So
it's not my mode. Usually it's hard. Bang, Joseph, we're taking out the top there on IMG. Let's hang out at 45s now at the front run. That $half area, Joseph. Let's see if we can weasel up there. This one's really squeezing. Short, it's got a small float, guys, so that's the reason it can get parabolic. It's not the only reason. You can have a higher short float and a larger float and also have that kind of parabolic effect, Ram. So up 114%, not a bad look there. So not much going on other than these 4 trades that we've gone on at the moment. I'm out of 4/5, so we've got one more out on IMG. We'll see if it can print me at 145. Otherwise, I get stopped out below 114, but I do look to defend that dollar on IMG. We're going to take half the position size we took originally on that bad boy. Let's keep looking over here. CDZI continuing to work into that 445, but really looking for this one to curl above the $half. Okay, so now that we've had more price action develop, I can make some, observations. $half, despite the fact that you had a lot of wicking below it, we were kind of using it as support. And then it flipped. We're now using it as resistance. Look at all the attempts since giving it up on a decisive closing basis, not on a wick basis. I'm talking about that 4.5. We've been trying to work up there, but there's been somebody shorting at 450 or high 440s, keeping us below that $half. So I got to be alive to that because I'm long 449. So if that's going to be the case, then I really need to, like what I see. And my assessment should, if I want to make money on this, I should be able to see the likelihood of this one breaking above 4.5. I like it still. I mean, the 5-minute doesn't look all that bad. I'm looking at the 5-minute again. It's well above VWAP. It's above the 10 right now. So I think that it's prudent for me to hang out there and find out what happens. So those are the ones we're involved in. 4 trades right now, all small cap gappers. Let's see how they do. Or let's actually see how we're doing here on the poll. All right, we got a decent race on our hands here with Rivian taking the cake right now, 30% after they got 6.6 billion. Then Intel 18%, and then we got IBIT 26 tied with CrowdStrike. So IBIT and CrowdStrike taking about a quarter of the vote right now, with Rivian a little bit less than a third and Intel a little bit less than a fifth. I'd love some more votes on this bad boy. We've got another, I think, 24 minutes, and we got to throw up a new poll there, Joseph. Yeah, and then we'll have 4 more options, and we'll take the top of each bunch there. I see IMG is going from my side chart over here, but it didn't work into 45s. Here we go, 41 HOD. Let's see if we can take out the top. I'm waiting at 45s. The only reason I have it at 45s is to account for psychological resistance at the $half. Come on, bro. No, I'm not gonna. Bang. Yes, you can't go like this to me because I was about to hit the flat button, bro. That's the only reason it held me back, because I didn't want you to do that to me, bro. I was like, I'm not flattening out here and have him go like this. So took that out and bang. What are you looking at, Joseph?
Yeah, I'm over here looking at IBIT. I was hoping to get that I'm reloaded thing going on, but it's not working out for me right now, and that's totally okay, because if we break this low, this potential turnaround low. As you can see, we started to slowly curl around a little bit here. And if we break this pivot, then I'm just going to get out of the position in general. Around 53.48 is my average. So I didn't have too much left after that. So you know what? I might have to cut this, even though I do think it still might continue a little bit higher. But as it's coming against me, that just can potentially indicate that I can get a better price. And I always like getting better prices, guys. So Baron Bigley, $2 super chat. NRDY, 5-day inside buys in a row, 25%. SI squeeze time. Let's take a look at NRDY for you. NRDY. I wish my overview was working so I can look up what these guys actually do. But Nerdy Inc. This is definitely more Sharif's world.
You want me to have a look?
Yeah, take a look. Yeah,
yeah.
Because my overviews, I can't pull up what they actually do, but that's definitely Sharif's world there in the small cap gapper.
They operate a platform for live online learning. The company's platform leverages technology, including AI, to connect students, users, parents, and guardians, and purchasers of all ages to tutors, instructors, subject matter experts, educators, and other professionals. I think it's just a learning.
Okay, yeah, so like Duolingo or whatever they got going on. Yeah, something like that. And so let's take a look at it from a technical and daily perspective. Guys, you know what I'm going to point out as soon as what catches my eye? I'm going to point out this right here, and sure enough, it is filled. So that's a nice play. But again, this isn't a stock that I would be looking to play. It's a little bit on the cheaper end. But what a beautiful gap fill that is. Essentially doesn't even look back. Barely any red candles here before you get the soft gap fill at the low of the gap down day. So that's a really good look. It does look like it's about to break it has broken these resistance zones. And you know I'm going to point this out. You're going to see the volume stepping in. So this can confirm that, hey, this might be a genuine move. As for going any higher than this, I don't know enough about the company or what they do. But again, as of right now, if you're in at those lows, the sub-dollar levels, then you're looking pretty good. So congratulations on that one. If you're just getting in, you'll know what I'll have to say about that. We can always get a better price at some point with most things. So just keep that in mind. But as of right now, yeah, Nerdy, really, really good pick there. I like that one somewhat, guys. So yeah, let me know in the chat what you're looking at. Come on, get those votes in. Vote CrowdStrike. Vote whatever you guys want to see. And right in the chat, whatever I see the most common one, I'll suggest to Sharif, hey, maybe we should throw this in the chat as well too. But as of right now, guys, I'm gonna pop out of this iBit trade. No need to give back any profits on this one because we were profitable on it. So we'll wait. We'll see if we do want to make that second leg. I told you where we have our definitive level on that, but I'm going to get out a little prematurely and hold, because if we hold this, then I can just get back in about like 20-30 cents lower. So yeah, we'll look at LBM photos. That's what Peter Scheib predicted a while back. He was a great one on here last week. Oh, 100K an ounce on gold. Isn't it like $2,700 an ounce of gold right now? I don't know. I'm pretty sure it is. So for Bitcoin to go to 250K before gold goes to 100K an ounce, I think is a lot more likely. I know you're saying LBM photos, but I'm pretty sure I'm correct. Gold's 2,700-ish an ounce, right? I think, yeah, something.
26.
Okay, yeah, so yeah, so I mean, 100K. I don't think that gold is going to get to 100K an ounce before Bitcoin gets to 250K. That is not where I'd be putting my money from a betting standpoint, especially. But guys, I want to take a look at NVDA. Been slightly disappointing the past couple of days. Oh, fantastic! A lot of dark pools. So I'll just pull it up. Here, and we'll take a look. Let's see if we can break this resistance zone. It's just been kind of chopping everybody around, like the overall market. Like you can see that these things are essentially like trading in tandem if I'm going to compare the 5-minute charts here. So this is essentially the same thing, different ticker, right? So again, it just moves the market. It has so much influence in what the market does. So we'll keep an eye out. If NVDA does decide it wants to break out, then I think it's going to drag the market out of this consolidation phase that it's currently in. So I can see that happening. But again, my good buddy Greg, are you in the chat still?
I saw him in the chat.
Yeah, I seen him in the chat. He mentioned to me, he said, yeah, Joe, he's like, there's no buy programs going on with NVDA right now. You should just sit there and wait for the programs to start in. and then you can look to join right then and there. Because I was joking, I'm like, the thing's trash, even though it's obviously not trash. But he's like, yeah, dude, just wait, right? So that's why. So thanks, Greg, for just pointing that out and just being like, hey, man, wait, it's going to get moving again, especially because we mentioned before with the price targets, right? So it's just chopping up some people, obviously collecting some liquidity, and then potentially making those moves higher.
4 trillion before Valentine's?
Well, Valentine's is in February. It's like the 19th or something, isn't it? 4 trillion. What are we sitting at right now? 3 something?
Where's
3.5?
You know it's the 14th, right?
The Valentine's Day?
Yeah, Valentine's Day.
No, bro, I'm so bad with dates like that. Like, you didn't even understand, like, Valentine's Day is the 14th.
We're at 3.358 right now. I think we could, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Easily.
4 trillion. 4 trillion easily, yeah. I think Neil's agreeing. He's saying, oh, he's scratching his head over there. So he's like, he's 4 I don't know.
Well,
dude, I'm not good with those.
Hold on a second.
Hold
on a second. I know we like to have a little bit of fun and wax poetic about, like, just making jokes and whatnot. But Joe, you can't honestly tell me you didn't know what day Valentine's Day was.
I said the 19th. I thought it was.
I'm 100%. I'm not buying that even a little bit. I know you're absolutely 100% taking a piss with us right now. There's no chance you did not know Valentine's Day was on the 14th.
Too, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say you got a girlfriend.
Oh, not you.
I know.
No, I can't even. By the way, IMG's halted to the upside. You still in that, Sharif?
I'm not. I was gonna cover it though, Neil. Yeah.
Damn.
155 halt tap.
Big move,
155 boys. Yeah.
Yeah, someone in the chat said I get into a big argument every year because I don't know. I know, you're not wrong. Like, just let me know. Sorry, but now I know. Now I won't forget that it's the 14th.
Ram was like shocked, bro.
When I said the 19th?
Yeah, Ram.
I genuinely thought it was. And you know what's funny? I have a wedding party on the 19th of February.
That's
so,
maybe that's
right?
why.
So, yeah,
that's why you're thinking. Look what Black Sheep Trades does. Canadian Valentine's is on the 19th. Yes, Black Sheep Trades.
So, yeah, I was a week off, eh? Better late than never, I guess.
Yeah, we're having a good time. All right, so here's what Neil was talking about, guys. IMG halted 155. Currently the tap zigging and zagging 155 a little bit, 154 essentially at the area that we halted at. So no exuberance right now with the auction that's going on. In case you're wondering what I'm talking about, auction halted this, that. So what ends up happening if you move 10% super quick, I think within 5 minutes or so, your stock is halted for volatility, and then it takes a period of rest, 5-minute increments usually. It'll be halted for 5 minutes, during which there's an auction that takes place between buyers and sellers. So people can still send buy or sell orders while it's halted. The way to do that using our system is to use an order type called market on open. So you send those orders in. The exchange receives them, tries to pair them together. If there's an imbalance of orders to the buy side here or the sell side, it shows you a theoretical auction price. It is now open. Here it comes down into 140. Let's see, 155 HOD, zigging and zagging, dropping below 150. But right back up we go. Are we going to take out that seller at 155? Because right now, yep, he's out. There we go. Moving into 160, seller at 160, probably going to get taken out. Boom, there they go as well. So the ferocity of these small cap gappers should not be understated, nor should the risk of getting into them be. So make sure you're getting them off sound levels with appropriate sizing, and you are, for the love of God, use stop losses, whether mental or hard stops using orders. Ram, show them the beautiful, what's it called, price action over here. So look, you could look for a dip trade off 155. In fact, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I need to participate in this one a little bit because I think this one's going to continue to zig and zag. So we're long now. So let's go ahead and hang out at these levels, see if we can wet our beak on some profits. Anything below 150, I'm Gonzino. Let's see if this one can continue to ascend above that 150. 165 level. Looks like it's encountering some selling right now. Anything below 155, I'm going to flatten out over here. It's going to have to continue in the uptrend. So maybe overstaying our welcome a little bit as we continue to move up again. Here comes 166, 170 now, HOD. Could we continue to move up though? We got some selling here, Joseph, in the high 60s, low 70s. Small position for me because I'm punching in at highs, but we want to execute well anyway on it. So whether or not it's a small position, I really do want to do well on this. So we'll continue to watch. I'm not going to use a hard stop. I'm going to use my flattened key again. Anything below 150, I'm gone on this. What are you looking at, Joseph?
Yeah, someone in the chat, Josh J, asked me to look at ABBV for him. Yeah, for sure. I don't know too much about it, so let's talk a little about it because he's a gap fill. I like gap fills. So we'll just talk about AbbVie is a diversified research-based biopharmaceutical company engaged in research and development, manufacturing, commercialization, and the sale of medicines and therapies. Okay, sitting at about $316 billion market cap. Let's take a look. Yeah, I like this for a potential gap fill. I don't necessarily know why it gapped down like this. So you just keep that in mind. What was the catalyst? What caused this significant depreciation in price? So keep that in mind. But as of right now, it's looking like it wants to enter the gap. Just from collecting my data sets from forward testing, keep in mind we did a nice move up here. So as we enter the gap, I wouldn't be surprised if you get a little bit of a pullback. If it can hold the 70s levels, then that's really good for you. And then you can get back into the stock. But again, I don't know the reason on this specific sell-off. But again, you're going to get the nod from me on from a gap fill standpoint. But as for like biotech and like pharmaceutical, I don't really trade those too often unless there's like a massive panic in the streets like Moderna when we trade that. But again, yeah, build your thesis. There's a nice fill there. It's a pretty big gap fill, so it can take a little bit longer of time. But again, I potentially like this setup. I won't be looking to trade it, but again, if you want to build a thesis off that and you believe in the company, then by all means, I think you can start a position on that. Have your definitive outs, right? Like if you start breaking certain levels, then you have to get out of it and then maybe just reassess what you have going on. But again, yeah, I like the gap fill, so good luck there, Josh J, on ABVV. And one thing I like is some people put in the chat, Sharif, is that some companies and tickers I've never even heard of. So it's always fun to just continue. Yeah, exactly, to just kind of expand on that front. But guys, NVDA is still kind of disappointing, chopping around in that specific range, and as well as the Qs. The Qs are now kind of sitting above VWAP, which is good. So I'm going to take a look at Amazon and see if Amazon started to recover, because we are out of Amazon right now, and it's still kind of holding. Yeah. Oh wow. Okay. This is really interesting to me. Unfortunately, we missed this, but guys, you know what I'm going to say. We had this primary trend up, a really strong opening auction here. Where we open up, yeah, so that 5-minute orb is absolutely fantastic. That's something that you want to see with the volume backing that as well too, because this is almost as bullish of a candle that you can print. Almost, and then you can, for the 5-minute orbs, traders out there, that's a really nice 5-minute orb. But then we have this indecision candle at the peak here, which is really nice, and it happens. No, okay, never. Yeah, I think that may be the case. It so happens to be. I have this level marked is because that is the gap. So again, the breach of that gap, and then sure enough, it rejected and pulled back. But guys, keep in mind this. It could barely hold below VWAP, and you have those indecision candles, and it's now rebounding. So that's a good look there. I like Amazon for the foreseeable future. That's one thing that I wish I got onto. And I mentioned JPM and Amazon were my first 2 options trades ever, and they both worked out really well for me. So yeah, Sharif.
All right, guys, I want to tell you guys about Trade the Pool. Are you ready to take your stock trading skills to the next level? Trade the Pool and Trader TV stock trading competition is coming soon, and it's bigger than ever. So from December 2nd to December 6th, you'll receive $200,000 in buying power to make your best moves and compete for incredible prizes. And here's the best part. The top 20 places win. So it's a lot of people. So there's plenty of opportunity to secure a reward. So gear up for this intense 5-day trading showdown and prove yourself against other traders. Whether you're aiming for the top spot or looking to make your mark, this competition is designed to push you to your trading peak. The countdown is on, baby, so don't miss out. Click that link in the description or move your camera on down to the bottom right corner of the screen and scan that QR code. Shout out to the great folks there at Trade the Pool. Love when Mitch comes on in the morning, man. He's got so much energy and excuse me. And he's got some great technical analysis skills. And he does use a lot of statistics, kind of like Raider Trader, kind of gets, you know, what's hot right now from a quantitative perspective. So I love that about how he looks at the market. So shout out to Mitch. Lexter, Sharif, Joe, thank you for the show. You guys are doing an amazing job. Oh, that's nice of you, man. Appreciate that.
Appreciate you.
That's nice of you to say. Jim Flannery talking about IMG halted. Yes, it is. Thankfully, I got out of that halt as it came down. So now we're flat on this one. Oh, actually not. No, I'm still up on it. I had half the position over here that I took originally, so doing all right. Now, let's see. When it opens, does it pop up again above $1.50? I'll submit to you 147 ain't that far away from that $0.50. Here we go. We're open. It is lower. Let's see. Does it have a bid, or are we going to continue to trend down? It's a monster topping tail candle right now on the 5. The candle that closed at 1245, very ugly, and the topping tail aspect of it really kind of showing you that people were either taking profit or reinstituting shorts right above that 150 from 155 to about $1.70. So let's see if this one wants to zig and zag its way back up right now above the $1.50 again, but still being met with some selling right now on IMG. So yeah, let's see what this one wants to do. I don't need to be first, but here it comes again, man. The buying is aggressive on this. Right above that 155 level, trying to take 160 again, up 144%. This one really going over here. This one can continue to trend up. We're going to give it another try over here, Joseph. We're going to give this one to layer some orders over here, see what we get. I'd like to be able to take some of these before it weasels down, but I'd like to also be able to get a better cost basis than the one that I have right now. So I'm going to put it here in the mid-40s, see if I can get my beak wet for a better cost basis there on this one. 135 and I'm out. Let's see what this one does. What are you looking at?
I just want to ask somebody in the chat. I Need Money, sorry, excuse me. I Need Money. Are you referring, is your name referring to a specific movie? And if it is, yes, one of my favorite movies of all time. So I Need Money, just let me know. If that, do you know what that's from?
No.
Have you seen How High with Method Man and
that
Redman?
is so old. That's
so
like 2001.
But do you remember
I don't remember it.
You don't remember
No.
I Need Money? All right. So
No.
this guy's a mute essentially, and he sleeps on their dorm couch, and his name is I Need Money, and it just has yeah. So if that's a reference
Probably
to that,
what it
then
is.
yeah, that's a good one. I like that. It seems like it is. So yeah, I like that one. I Need Money. But yeah, guys, what was I gonna look at? Oh, Apple. Sharif, I wanted to talk a little bit about Apple.
Yeah, man.
Look at this thing.
Just say nice stuff about it, though.
I'm gonna say nice because I know no, but I'm gonna say nice things about it because
Playing, bro. You gotta deal with the
I know,
reality, right?
Yeah, you gotta deal with the reality of getting out at 1:30.
Hey, just 20%. 20%.
Salt in the wound. Salt
I
in
had
the
to
wound.
get
dude.
that
You
out.
had to get
I
it.
had to
But
get that
Sharif,
out.
it's looking like we might break all-time
doing?
highs in the near future. Like
we're not bad, eh?
we're not too far off of it, guys. So scared of those tariffs. Those tariffs are not scared of you. That is for sure. Hey, it's moving nice, right?
It's not
moving
bad.
nice.
No, but
moving nice.
let's call a spade, man. The thing is, Timmy C, you know where he's at right now?
Where is he?
He's in China.
Is he? Yeah,
Yes.
there you go.
There's a conference there, to be fair. He's not just there to talk. Pardon me? Timmy C, Tim Cook.
You have a crush on?
Ram's talking to us right now.
All
Yeah, no, he's in China right now. I think there is a conference or some sort of tech conference there, so he's there technically for that. But it's his third time there this year, so I think he really is trying to get ahead of things. You know, Donald Trump's not joking when he says he's going to throw on tariffs 10% now for China, 25% for us and Mexico. So, you know, there's going to be a marked effect. Not like we export much anyway.
I want to ask you this, Sharif. So I know that Apple is kind of just getting into one of the emerging markets, and that's India. What happens if they really crack into India and have the ability to take some significant market share? How huge can that be for them?
I think it's going to be huge, man. The thing is, the Indian consumer is growing in importance and in buying power. So that's important from a consumer side. Then they've got a manufacturing base that's starting to boom. And you also have this trend of trying to get away from reliance on China. So you've got people building in Vietnam. They want to build in Indonesia, India. So, and India has a bit of a unique perspective, Joseph. If you want to do business in the Indian market, you gotta build, you gotta invest in India. Otherwise, they're not gonna give you free entry. So on top of that, you're gonna get from both sections. You're gonna get the consumer section and you're gonna get that manufacturing. So your point, very well taken. It's something we've been watching for a hot minute. Anybody who's been watching the Indian market this year, it's doing well for emerging markets, right? The thing is though, the American markets always outperform emerging markets. So if you're a fund manager and you're trying to sell your clients on emerging markets, my first response to you is, why would I leave American markets when they always outperform?
Right.
And so it's a hard sell. So even though India does well, it's still a hard sell because the American market's so strong.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that. I totally agree. China.
My man is in the chat. Big Spile Burdette. China. Very good country, strong leader, good food. Hey, man, I got no problem with them.
And strong leader.
I know, Xi. Yeah, President Xi, look, man, you may think of him as you want. The fact of the matter is, he's who we have to deal with. So that's just kind of how things pan out in the world, and he's gonna be the leader that, if you want to do business with China, he's obviously at the helm. So we'll have to keep tabs on that. And yeah, so I'm still involved in this IMG trade. Joseph seems to have some resistance here at $1.60. I'm waiting out $1.65. I didn't get my DCA at $1.45, so we'll see what this one does. Kind of whiffling and waffling, but well above VWAP, well above the 10 exponential. So I'm keeping my eye out on this one. Let's see what we get there. We're involved in some other trades, so we can talk about that. LX still having a lot of issues with 432. Look how long the selling has been there at 432 for a hot minute. So it's obviously an iceberg order because there's just not enough size there on the book to account for that resistance. We'll keep tabs on that. 666, the ominous number here on Kodak. So, we'll see if that level wants to get taken out. What else we got? Oh, boom. All right, IMG, we're getting some prints. Let's see if we can get some more here. We got 165, but again, man, we didn't get that DCA in the mid 140s, so our cost basis is kind of poop. Let's see if we can take out that seller at 69s. I'm waiting at 69. Let's layer some more orders, possibly up here. I'm going to sit at 74s to front run any size that could come in at the $0.75 area. Let's see now, 66, 69. Could we move up above 69? Give me that fill, baby. We're sitting at 68 still there. Here it comes, bang! We take out 69. Look at the timing on that. Yeah, that was good. Yeah. Let's see if we can continue to ascend here. IMG, guys, really squeezing up 163%. Be careful trading this one. It is a bit of a toughie. And CDZI, we are, let's see, where are we? We're about 3 pennies out of the money on this one. So packing my patience. Joseph, what are you looking at?
Yeah. Actually, one thing I want to point out on Microsoft here, and sure enough, it was the gap being filled on this one. Unfortunately, we didn't get to play it. Watch it. Oh, sorry. Excuse me. I was slightly off on that, but we re-entered this. I don't know what this line was, but okay. But yeah, guys, you can see that gap. Held the lows really nice, and then now breaching back into it. So that's a really nice 16-point move that you can capture on MSFT. So yeah, let's see. And I mentioned before, I think in order for this market to continue to move higher, we're going to need Microsoft to start participating and then start making some new moves on that one. But again, as of right now, it is kind of what's dragging the cues up with it. NVDA is just hovering around this resistance level. I'm going to look to participate in this. I don't want to anticipate, but it's kind of getting along those lines. We do have these higher lows here forming, but again, we have this flat top, this form of resistance that is holding really strong, and we just keep rejecting it. And so we have a little bit of a cliff here that we're going to see if we pull back a little bit more, clear some of this up here, and then maybe make that move higher. But as of right now, it's just really chopping around, and it's really holding the cues stagnant, guys. So I need this. Well, I don't need it to, but I would like for it to break out, and then that way I think the overall market can continue to participate in this one. But again, there's some mags that are moving fantastic. So again, if I'm kind kind of anticipating a move, maybe it's just best that I look at something else. I haven't looked at IBIT since I've got out of it, so maybe I'll pull it back up and see what it's up to. Yeah, see, I told you I think I'd be able to get a better price on this one because it did pull back past where I was getting. We are holding that pivot low, which is really key, but I think it's only a matter of time until it heads a little bit lower. So let's see if we test VWAP here or we continue to hold these specific resistance levels. But guys, let us know in the chat. Let's get those votes up to 1,000. I mean, hey, I like CrowdStrike. Sharif likes CrowdStrike. A lot of people like CrowdStrike, even though he voted for something else. But I think that's one of the bigger looks, I think, going into the earnings report because it can move so much on its reports. So just keep that in mind. But as of right now, guys, I'm going to send it off to Sharif. But let me know what you guys are looking at in the chat. If there's anything specific that you want me to look at from an options standpoint. Greg, what are you looking at? Greg, what do you like? Let me know what you like. Do you like CrowdStrike? Did you vote yet? Greg, I really want to know.
So.
Yeah, Greg, you better have voted. So, but yeah, let us know what you're looking at, Greg. Let me know what you traded today as well, too, because we'll be talking after. But guys, yeah, just let us know.
Sir.
Options. We talk options. We can talk whatever you'd like. So.
Absolutely. All right, we're still dealing with this trade on IMG. A couple of beak wetters as it comes back down. Still hasn't filled my dollar cost average. It looks like that 145. It looks, I mean, for now is a micro level of support. I'm at a loss for words to choose the description there. So we'll see if it wants to dip down into that. We're still getting higher lows on this. So that's what's keeping me interested. So if you looked at the initial area trough, that the 5-minute candle that we put at 1250, the low there is 137. The subsequent candle, the low there is 145. This candle that we're currently in, 149 generally right now. So higher lows on IMG. We'll see what this one wants to do. I'd like to get a DCA possibly into this one and get a better cost basis if it's going to continue to run up. CDZI flat on this one, but I've got my planned DCA there to account for the volume weighted average price. Looking to get a better cost basis there too. LX, we continue to range at 432. Nothing doing there. I won't move down my beak wetter. This one though, Kodak continuing to go. 6.9s now showing up. 70s now showing up on the ask. I'm actually waiting at 70. So that's the thing. It's going to have to cross. It's a 1 penny spread. Am I waiting at 70? It says 70 over here yet. Okay, yeah, I am waiting at 70. So it's going to have to the cross from 70 into 71 for me to get filled, but it's up 7% now with a hell of a hold up at the volume weighted average price on KODK. And then I've got a bit of a lofty next beak weather there at 74s to front run essentially any possible resistance at the $0.75. So KODK. IMG continuing to whiffle and waffle here at the $1.50. So packing my patience with this one, just worried that the bottom drops off. Look, these bad boys, I'm talking about these small cap gappers, low float runners as some other people call them. These are as stable and as predictable as trading a larger cap name. So the bottom can drop off at any time. And I'm not talking about a few pennies or 10 pennies. This can have a very ugly liquidity grab where it takes out like 10, 15 different levels. So that would be 10, 15 pennies quick as you like that. So two things about that. One, make sure you're position sizing in order to manage risk well. And number two, for the love of God, please have a sound stop plan. Now, if you're going to use a hard stop, I've said this before, but I'm going to continue to say it. Put a nice spread between your triggering price, your stop price, and your limit price, the maximum you're willing to pay for that. So what do I mean by that? So if you're going to put a 2 penny spread, for example, and 140 gives way. Let's say that 140 level on IMG drops. And like, let's just go with the theory that it can take out 10 pennies in one fell swoop. So your 2 penny spread won't mean anything. And what you'll end up seeing is your stop loss unfilled and the price going below your stop. That's if you're using a limit order. Again, not a market order. All right, here we go. We just got filled at 144, so I have to concentrate. Now let's see if this one wants to hold above 135. It's going to have to hold above 135. That is the volume weighted average price. I won't give it any more than that on this one. So let's see what we get here, Joseph. I just have to send it to you, throw it, stop.
Yeah. But other than that, our good buddy Kyle Burdett, $2 super chat. Joe, BBY, Continuation trade, bearish strats. Sure, let's take a look at BBY. Best Buy. Hey, and I know, Kyle, I know that you pointed out, you're like, hey, man, sell this thing. You were talking about it yesterday, like, yeah, puts on this. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I see what you're saying, Kyle. You're not wrong on that. And I agreed with your thesis. And what a massive gap down it had after that report. So good call there, Kyle. I'm sure you cashed out on those. But from a bearish standpoint, just hold on to those puts that you're holding on to, because again, we have this massive gap down, and then we kind of have somewhat of an indecision candle. So I would let that play out and see if it's going to break to the downside. If it does break to the downside, Kyle, then you can start doing some like bear call spreads on it if you don't want to like outright short any, or you can just continue to go with your puts. But again, if you break to this downside, then you can use a definitive top around 87.5s and do some bear call spreads and just collect some credit, regardless of if it goes up or down a little bit. If it doesn't really move significantly lower, then you can just collect premium on kind of just the stagnant movement of the BBY. But you ready to go again?
Yeah.
Right.
Good. Everything's good there. Stops are in place. Everything's good. But I just weaseled on over to my Mag 7 charts. Have you seen goggles? What a directional movement today for goggles on the way, it looks like, to that $170 area, printing high days as we currently speak, 169.73. Uninterrupted, unabated to the high side there. And we took out that area at around 169 that we had a lot of trouble with in the opening range there. That opening range break took us above 169, but only on a wick basis. All the closing prints, in fact, were south of 169. But, you know, when things calmed down a little bit during the midday, let's say around 11:30, 11:40, we really started to get going there and started putting in higher lows and higher highs. This, you know, little half an hour bit over here, it looks awfully buy program-ish with that nice 6 candle pattern formation breaking the highs. Google has been hurt lately. Number one, obviously there was some issues with competitors to their search space, obviously with ChatGPT and OpenAI throwing their hat into the search ring there with a ChatGPT style search app expected any day. Separately, we had the Department of Justice recommending as a remedy for the antitrust lawsuit, you know, the breakup or the divestment of the company, things being floated as possibilities, the divestment of Chrome, the preventing them from entering into exclusivity agreements for, you know, the example like with Apple for to be the default search engine on iOS. And then there's other things that there is possible the divestment of Android, any number of things. It looks as if, though, it's really what legal commentators are saying, and this is by no means like a done deal, is it looks like, you know, the most likely outcome of this is them being prevented from actually being able to enter into these exclusivity agreements with like the likes of Apple and stuff like that. So that's what legal commentators are saying is the most likely result. All right, IMG is breaking down, and I'm going to have to take it out here for breaks 30. It's already below VWAP, so unless we get a liquidity grab to the upside, that's going to be the end of the trade. So we'll give back if we get stopped out. Oh, it's right back above again, man. If we get stopped out, we're going to give back the profitability on this one, and we will likely go negative. I will go negative on this one. Let's see if it does stop me out. $1.30, it held up there, so let's see if it wants to retrace. Let's look at LX, still having issues with 432. Oh, Kodak, you did it.
Oh, no.
You came up into that 470 and it didn't get printed, so we'll have to pack our patience on that one. What else are we doing over here, Joseph? CDZI, flat on that one as well. Nothing doing there. That's become awfully consolidative. So not much for me going on right now, but we're going to have to throw on a new poll, baby. Let's see how the new the old one did. We got almost 1,000 votes for being late. Not bad, 910 votes. It looks like Rivian going to win this one, 31%, followed by IBIT at 27, and then CrowdStrike got 25 with Intel in last place there, Joseph. So let me throw it to you for a hot second while I throw it.
Yeah, for sure. I know a lot of people in the chat. We didn't have GME on that one, did we?
We did not. I'm going to throw on the next
we
one.
Throw GME. So there you go. The people get what
what they want.
They get what they want.
Unless
guys.
Ram prevents us from throwing it on there.
By Ram, you don't like GME?
Well, she's a sinister being. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
Right? Oh my God, jeez, she doesn't like that. Well,
Yeah, Wonder Kid, nice work on those calls that you have on those Amazon calls. You paid a nice premium for those, so hopefully that starts to appreciate for you. Especially we're getting into some key levels, so I like that play that you had going on there. Let's take a look at Amazon actually from a daily perspective and see what's going on. I'm curious about your break-even price on that. So I know you mentioned 207 something. But from a daily perspective, Wonder Kid, I really like this here, especially from a gap fill perspective. It would be really nice if my GME thesis played out, or sorry, GE thesis played out a little sooner, because then I could get to potentially play this. That's a nice 4-point move that you can do on the gap there. So I like that. I think that stock continues to move higher for the foreseeable future, so I really like that one. But yeah, guys, Bitcoin's not holding those levels how I was looking forward to. It's kind of pulling back now, kind of forming that head and shoulders type pattern. You can see shoulder 1, head, shoulder 2, and then now we're making that move lower. Let's see if we can hold these well, yeah, the trend already broke there, guys. So as you can see, it's no longer holding those higher lows. So it looks like we might be on the descent here with IBIT or Bitcoin for a little while. It may turn around. You never know. But again, just keep in mind, once that trend line breaks, then you can't really stick to the same thesis. Not too late to get that power hour in on GME. Yeah, we'll take a look. I know it didn't break out. I don't know if that breakout was sustained, because I know I've seen some. Yeah, and it pulled back pretty heavy. Again, just something that I wouldn't really necessarily look to participate in. We were looking at this breakout here as the volume stepped in, but then it just failed, and it's kind of since recovered there. So it would have stopped me out if I was in this trade, and then it would have continued to move that way. But yeah, as of right now, I'm looking for a trade. I'm looking to put something on here. I really wanted to get long NVDA, but it's just not the case today. Sharif, what do you got going on?
Yes, sir. Yeah, just threw out the poll to Ram there, so she's going to throw that on in a hot second. Do your absolute best to get into the chat and vote for your favorite tickers. We're going to have a batch of 4 new ones for you guys. NVIDIA going to be one of them, and there's going to be GameStop as well. So shout out to all my my GameStop traders out there. It will be included, and let's talk a little bit about it. Let's have a look at what GameStop's doing. I mean, I haven't traded it at all today, so here we are. GameStop. Good luck, man. Can't complain about this range. Above VWAP, putting in higher lows, despite the fact that it looks consolidative. When you look at the actual area troughs, each one successfully higher than its predecessor, with a bit of a flat top there around 31.50, even though the high of the day is that 2/3 of a dollar. The majority of the prints below the $0.50. So you got to, make the case that we have a bit of a range here between 31.80 or 30.80 or so, or 30.75. Yeah, I'd say 30.75 and that 31.50. So about 75 pennies worth of range ever since it really took that volume weighted average price. I apologize for the noise. It looks like we might have a fire alarm drill right now. Which one are you voting for there, Joseph? I'm going to throw my weight there behind. I'm going to say GameStop. I'm going to throw GameStop. NVIDIA and GameStop awfully close right now, the two going back and forth. ForexAU telling me to look at the RSI and look at it on the daily. Let's have a look. Let me remove the money flow index and include our friend, the RSI, the 9 or the 14-day RSI. Eh?
This is who I'm voting for. Exactly who I'm voting for.
He's voting for goggles. Well, it's a great day to vote for it too, bro. Breaking into that 170 level, you know what I mean? Let's put some respect on Google's name. All right, let's have a look at the daily right here. Shout out to ForexAU. We're going to throw the daily on there. All right, so we're getting awfully close. So here's the thing, though. Look at this. Okay, so you've got a high. Let's look at the high. So we talk about divergence with the relative strength index and the price. So here is the high area of the RSI. That's around 79. We made a higher high in the price, but we haven't made it a higher high in the RSI. Okay, that's one piece of information that we look at. But when I look at the price action, it is nice. Let's look at the weekly. What's the RSI showing me on the weekly? I still also have a lower high on the RSI as compared to the price. So that divergence, that bearish divergence is staring me in the face. But yeah, what we do with it, an entirely different story there. So good luck. But I'm not gonna be holding GameStop, I promise you, overnight. It's gonna be an intraday trade. Yeah, let's have a look over here, Joseph. Why do we not have it on a trading screen? Let's remove HSAI and GME. Let's go. It's breaking out, says Joseph. Let's have a look. 31.75. Yeah, 31.80. There we go. We were talking about that 75 penny area being resistance. Good luck. 7%. Any news on this one? I doubt it. There's
dude. What news could there be?
Yeah, there
Roaring
really
Kitty buys a couple more.
He's not even going to tell you what he's buying.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Yeah, good luck, man. I mean, if it sets up, if it dips into that 31.50 and wants to defend that, maybe I'll take a dip trade off that, but I've got nothing for it right now. I'm involved in 4 trades. I don't want to manage a 5th. Let's see what these ones do. IMG's boring me. I'll get that right. Boring me to death. Right now, above VWAP, though, so it's keeping me in the trade because it's continuing to zig and zag above the volume weighted average price, but it's having a whole lot of trouble taking that $0.50 level. I'm talking about IMG up 130%. Keep tabs on this one. LX rejecting finally that 432 area. So now we are working down into the 20 exponential moving average on LX. And I still have, I think, like 4 or 5 outs on this one. Let me have a look. We've got 3 outs left on this bad boy. So I'm going to take out some over here. I don't want to drop it any lower than that. Let's have a look at Kodak. Yeah, Kodak keeps rejecting at 69. So maybe what I'll do is I'll put my beak wetter at 69 rather than 70. So let's go ahead and cancel that 70 order that we had over here. There we go. We'll get rid of that bad boy. We'll see if that one wants to print. And GameStop, like you said, though, Joseph, go in here. How would you trade this?
How would I trade it? I'd necessarily, if I was going to, Sharif, I would definitely have played, I've mentioned this before, I would have played this breakout, but then I would have got stopped out on it. Okay. On this breakout. But then again, as we go and retest those levels and you see this volume starting to step in and we break high a day, I would look to try to get in as early on this candle bar. I know Obi would break that down to to a second chart. We'll break it down to a minute chart, but you can see that volume. You can see that volume start to kick in right at as that breakout happens, guys, and that's something that you want to see, right? So you don't want to necessarily fight that. So yeah, one thing that I like about Obi's analysis, he'll break that down and find from like a 1 second standpoint and be like, hey, where do you get in? Where is that volume getting in? And that can help a little bit better of an entry. But as of right now, from the 1 minute standpoint, yeah, I like that there. The volume steps in. That's something that I'd be looking for. It just gives it a more conviction within the trade there. So yeah.
Sounds good. Yeah, all right, let's have a look at big tech, see what we're up to over here. Yeah, well, there's
Bitcoin selling heavy.
Bitcoin selling heavy, yeah. We'll have a look at that in a second. Amazon still defending VWAP. That 205 level did hold on Amazon. Good look for Amazon, 2 1/3 today, but definitely straddling the volume weighted average price. The majority of the Mag 7 have become quite consolidative here since breaking out into highs. It's really Google that's keeping that trend intact with higher highs and higher lows. It's only up 1% though. We didn't look at the futures at all, and this looks like a dang sound wave here on the futures with about 20,920, let's say 925, the low end with 20,009, let's say 80 or 90, the high end. We're at VWAP right now, but I'm really not basing anything off that because we've been zigging a little bit above, a little bit below VWAP, so nothing doing there, not using that as a level of support or resistance or anything else. 0.32 on the NQ on the day. How we doing on all the other major averages? The ES and the NQ kind of the same, 0.36, 0.33. The Dow flat, 0.03 negatory. And the Russ giving back a little bit, but that's okay. Down 0.69, all-time highs yesterday for the Russell 2000. So it was a good move by the Russ yesterday as we continue to watch the rotation trade take hold. We've got, I believe we've got PCE. Boys, do we have PCE tomorrow? I believe we do have PCE on a shortened week. So the reason I'm even mentioning that is because the Russ is so heavily dependent on interest rates. So if we get a high rate print for the PCE, obviously puts into question the whole rate cutting cycle that we're currently on right now with the Fed.
PCE tomorrow, core PCE, and then initial jobless claims as well. Too.
We got jobless. Okay, that's
jobless
good.
claims and advanced retail inventories as well.
That's a good look to have retail because we have all these retail names reporting right now.
Exactly.
So it'd be nice to get that data point. Yeah. So in any event, keep your eye out on the Rust tomorrow. If we get a higher PCE print, we can parse some of the gains that we've been making lately. So that's going to be my look there. But IMG dropping again, finally in front of my eyes over here. I actually have keep my eye on this one because anything below that 30, and we're going to give the entire thing back. It seems to have a lot of trouble with that $0.50 though. Still a higher low, so still not below 130. It keeps, they're selling at the $0.50 and buying at the third of a dollar. So whichever way this one resolves, we're going to be on that side. And bang, there we go. Kodak taking out that 70 level, now on the way to 73. Where are we long on this, bro? We're long 54, so it's not the biggest move. We're waiting at 74s now for the next little out. Let's see if Kodak wants to continue to ascend. GameStop moving into 31.90, possibly coming back into that 31.50. I think I'm a buyer there, Joseph, at 31.50. You're going to take a small little dip trade on that one if it wants to cooperate. We'll see what this one does. What are you looking at?
Yeah. I'm just entering in on some NVDA here, Sharif. I'm holding at the bottom of the range, so I have really tight risk on this one. As you can see, we've been holding this definitive support level, which I really like. We have the inability to break it, and the others in the chat said volume too low to have any big flush on NVDA. I really like that you pointed that statement out because I was like, okay, you're right. I'm thinking the same thing. I love volume by time. We're holding these levels and we're just chopping around. That volume is not stepping in order it to flush. So look for a potential bounce in this stock. So as of right now, it's working out a little bit. We got the bottom of the range, so that really gives us a nice tight stop. We don't need to risk too much on this trade. We know that if it breaks to the downside, and especially the others, if that volume steps in, that just means this potential long thesis is incorrect, and that's totally fine because there'll always be another trade. But I'm glad that you pointed that out, and I totally agree with you on that front because there's no volume stepping in. It's just really chopping around, and it's doing that, and it's leading the cues in the same direction as well too. So I like that play. We're going to hold on to this. Let's see if we can catch the top of the range again around 137, and then maybe we'll look to trim a little bit, but not too much because, again, we're not too overly heavy on this setup. It's slightly out of my playbook. I like to play like VWAP trades or specific indecision candles based off of that, and then it can make those retracements back to the volume-weighted average price or whatever your price target may be. But as of right now, we're going to hold on to these things. GME, still kind of holding that breakout level, pulling back a little bit. Again, you're gonna want to see that supporting volume in order for this thing to continue high. I know some people had some potential like $40 price targets on GME, which is totally reasonable. If it does get memey and squeezy, then by all means, it can go there. But it might be a little bit of a grind, especially on a session like today. I think you would need the cues and you would need a lot of buy programs to start stepping in. One key thing is that, Microsoft is holding these levels. It's just been chopping up a really strong opening drive on Microsoft here, as you can see from that 5-minute range, really strong 5-minute range. And then you can play that, but then it's been kind of just trading in this $3 range for pretty much half the session since 10:30 or so, 10:40. So it's been up there. Let's see what Microsoft is gonna do. If volume steps in, it can take that leg higher, or we just slowly grind down and see what we can kind of do around VWAP if it decides it wants to pull back to them. But other than that, Sharif, I'm just gonna hold on to this.
Sure.
NVDA, we have a definitive out, and we'll take it from there, brother. What do you got going on?
I'm looking at a new small cap gapper. I don't necessarily want to trade this because we're in 4 positions right now, and I don't want to add a 5th. But this one breaking out over here, I mean, it had decent volume to start the day. But look at the volume really come in midday. Kind of started at 12:45, but we didn't get the biggest volume bar till 1:05, and it happened to be red. But there we go. 221 HOD still trading above the volume weighted average price, the 10, the 20, and by extension of that, obviously the 50 and the 200. The volume is dropping off a little bit though, if I can say so. Let's update the side chart over here, KDLY. Let's see if it's just a matter of this not updating. Now it's at $1.92. I mean, this is kind of too ziggy-zaggy for me. Way too many levels there to base a trade off, but it's moving, and it's showing up on my scanner about 4.6 million shares, 28.25% on the day done. The market cap, let me tell you about this one, 8.25, as I mentioned, $8.25 million. Market cap, as I mentioned, volume is 4.6 million. The float, a tiny 1.25 million share float. And let's weasel down on to trade ideas, find out what the short float is on this one. Decent, 17.08%, so 17.1% of that 1.2 million share float is being borrowed for short. So this one can definitely get parabolic. It's got a couple of things on its side, a very small float and a bit of a higher short float there. So that's kind of all the prescription you're looking for, I guess, if you really love these squeezing stocks. By extension of that, though, they do become more risky when they have a lower float and a higher short float because, well, anything can happen. So that's a look. We'll keep an eye out on that one. CDZI, I'm break even on this one. I did get my DCA at the volume weighted average price, but it's going to have to hold VWAP. CDZI has been put in a plethora of lower lows and lower highs after making that high of the day right around 1140. VWAP is my line in the sand. IMG continuing to hold above VWAP. And I don't know, man. It's a compression pattern. It's lower highs but higher lows. I don't know what to do with this one. I've already got my stop set south of 130, so come what may. Here we go. LX moving back into that 432 again. There's been a seller of note here on LX for a hot minute, essentially all day at 432. I was able to weasel out a print at 433, but that was a liquidity grab. It went all the way up, I think, to 435, then dropped right back down below 432 and has been trading that way since then. Kodak, I continue to go unfilled, didn't get my print at 674. The Realist, Sharif, what do you think will come of the FOMC minutes report? Like somebody was asking that earlier, and I basically said, oh, IMG's really dropping here. I have to look at this. Yeah, I got stopped out. Crap. I really wanted to trade this one.
Bugger.
The right side, yeah. So this one we give back. I'm red on this one, by the way. So FOMC, to be quite honest with you, it's going to be interesting. It's really going to be about, what I'm going to be looking for in the FOMC minutes is how they view the economy, right? We've got a possibility of inflation rearing its ugly head again because there could be more growth with the Donald Trump administration incoming in January. Who knows exactly how that'll all pan out? But if you look at the interest rate or the bond, not the 10 and the 20 years. So the yields, they've been pricing in higher inflation going forward. So I want to see what the Fed has to say about that with respect to the economy. Secondly, Kashkari, I think he was on Bloomberg yesterday, basically making the case that even though, inflation and could rear its ugly head again, it's still okay for a rate cut in that December meeting. I want to see if other Fed members are kind of seeing things his way. So I'll be looking for a bunch of things on that. How it affects the market, though, just look at the past. It really hasn't affected the market all that much in the past lately. Sometimes you get a bit of an algo spike up or down on that, and then it kind of fades back. So we shall see. I don't have a bias one way or another, but keep in mind, we do get PCE tomorrow, which is the Fed's preferred measure of inflation. So yeah, we'll have to keep tabs on that, Joseph. What's your look?
Yeah, for sure. I was actually just looking at SPY. I know a lot of people said they had some SPY options trades as well too. The most liquid of them all. But one thing is that I want to point out. So I guess this is the all-time high right here, 685. We're creeping in that. We're about $1 away from that. I do think that in the near future that we do continue to move higher. But I'm like, why is SPY slightly stronger than the Qs? And when I recognize that, sure enough, what I have to do is I have to do some due diligence and then start running through some sector ETFs. All right. So first one I'm always going to look at is one of my good friends. Well, he's not actually, but Jamie Dimon, one of my favorite CEOs. I wanted to see what XLF was up to. And it's just kind of recovering on the session, still just about to crack that 5-minute opening range. that it had. It dumped really heavy in, and it's now since recovered. So I like that on XLF. And then I want to see what XLRE is up to. XLRE, yeah, and putting in a decent day, so that's a good one. And then XLE as well. Just want to see what some of these sectors are up to, and just why is the SPY slightly stronger. So yeah, again, nothing crazy in XLE. We are just trading a little bit below VWAP, looking like it wants to breach somewhat. But one thing I'll point out is this, and then you get the turnaround. So keep an eye out on that. But as for strength, I think it's XLF that's kind of just slowly dragging the SPY up with it. So Bitcoin is starting to sell off. That thesis is not playing out how I expected, especially if it had a really strong morning. But it's now since gave it all back, and now going to go test that 91K level potentially. So it's not quite ready to turn around just yet. It is still strong. The volume is starting to step off, so that's still a positive signal. I do think that it pulls back a little bit. You see those high 80s, mid 80s even, and that's totally reasonable as long as we don't pull all the way back to where our breakout price is, especially after this long consolidation. So we should have enough momentum to continue that northeast trajectory that we like. But again, yeah, we're pulling back here. Totally reasonable. That's fine. It just gives us an opportunity to potentially get into some more. So yeah, we're still just kind of grinding away in this NVDA trade. A little bit of a slow burner, and that's totally fine because the market is choppy. So they're kind of moving in tandem, the Qs and NVDA. So CVX flat, top break, incoming. Yeah, we'll take a look at that. Nick W, how you been, man? I haven't seen you in the chat for a while. So CVX, let's take a look. Chevron. All right, yeah, it's looking like it wants to go there, Nick. You
got an upgrade today.
Did it? Yeah, okay, so perfect. There you go, got an upgrade there. So it's moving pretty nicely. If you want to see that flat top break, Nick W, I think you want to see that volume step in a little bit, and then that can just give you a potential momentum to continue to move higher. But it's pulling back a little bit. If the volume steps in and then you get that flat top break, look for that volume to come in. So that's just one thing we'll keep an eye on. And yeah, and NVDA has been nothing short of disappointing, I guess, for the past couple of sessions. That's totally fine. There's nothing really bullish about this thing as of right now from a technical standpoint. Absolutely phenomenal report. But again, it's just probably just needs to grab some liquidity before it goes to push for those all-time highs, Sharif.
All right, you've had my protein treats before, right?
Yo, those are actually good. You have more of those?
So Rob just made me his, and he kind of took my recipe and ran with it.
Okay.
So these are a sampling here of how he's doing this whole thing right there. So shout out to Rob. I think I gotta throw these in the fridge, but these are heavy.
Are they heavy? They're weighted, eh?
Yes, they're a volume-weighted average price, my boy.
Very heavily weighted.
Yeah,
all
they're
right.
good.
So,
Rob, so can you remind me again what you threw on these? Dominican chocolate. Coca.
Whoa,
Coca.
okay, that's
fresh
cool.
coca. So Rob throws it on there despite the fact that he's using chocolate protein. I was talking to Rob off camera and I was telling him I throw coca on when I use a vanilla protein. We did an entire segment on this one time where we did my treats. I won't belabor that now, but these are my fave. Shout out to Rob. And you use molasses too, right? So yeah, so he doesn't use any of that crap sweetener.
No, molasses.
He's using the real deal. So, he's telling me something right now. Yes, so it's lower on the glycemic index, Rob, which is really, really good. Obviously, if you guys into strength training, weight training, and weight loss, obviously stuff like that, you've got, like sweet potatoes lower on the glycemic index than potatoes. Anyway, it's better, especially if you're diabetic or pre-diabetic. That makes a big difference. But if you're bodybuilding and trying to lose weight as well, sure. Important there, Joseph. Yeah. I'm going to have to obviously return the
What
favor.
happened? How come I never got any more of the ones that you've been cooking?
I haven't made them. I haven't made them.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
cutting season,
I thought you
baby.
just kind of, whoa.
Yeah.
I
So
thought you were just hoarding
I might be
them.
at my lowest weight, I think, in about 10 years.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're on a heavy cut right now.
An Instagram video may or may not be dropped very soon.
Ooh.
Yeah, I drop one of these once a year.
You know
right?
what? You know what? Want to know
Thirst
something?
traps, throw them once a year.
You know what I'm looking forward to, Sharif? I think we're gonna get a couple good runs in on the summer. I think we're gonna have some fun with that.
there's no
we're gonna
question
hit
about that.
we're gonna
There's no
we're gonna
question
hit the
about that.
lake. We're gonna go down to LV. So e-signal ad read. All right, cool. All right, guys. E-signal, trade smarter, not harder. Upgrade to an elite trading experience Analyze, strategize, capitalize. Foresee profitable opportunities with the platform you need. Infinite data, instant trading, know where the market is moving before others with lightning fast data. Better backtesting and scanning predict the future by understanding the past. Reliable, real-time data, up to the second market info from hundreds of global markets. Everything you need, all in one place. Don't miss a beat. Execute your best trades now. Ready to elevate your trading? Scan the QR code or check the link in the description. Dang.
Thank you for that, Joseph. All right. Let's see what everybody's talking about. First and foremost, let's have a look at this poll, man. We're going to need to do better than this, Ram. I mean, we only have about 496. 22 minutes ago, we only have 500 votes. You got the likes of NVIDIA, Google, GameStop, Palantir. These are some heavy-hitting names. Let me know which one of these bad boys, these four, you guys want on the afternoon rundown. We got the Obe. He is the one, Kenob. And then we have the Neil. He's in today, and he's going to be telling you exactly how he sees these bad boys today. And I know he's going to be talking about Google. He'll give you his opinion, no question, on NVIDIA as well. So get into the chat right now. Have your say every day. I got to let you know that GameStop breached 32. Kind of disappointed in myself when this one, Joseph, because we said that $50 breakout area. That was the little area crest over there. So should have been more alive to that and not so scared to trade this in any event. It does hold up at 55s, or that's where the closing, the closing prints all around that $50, 55 pennies. And then we take out the high of the day going to 32.10, sub 32 right now. Let's see if this one wants to trend back down or move back up. So we'll give this one a bit of a chat. What's going on over there?
Don't really.
Big smile. What am I going to do with you, bro?
Whatever
You can't. I'm not reading that out, Big Smile. But I love you anyway. We love the dude around here. Shout out to him. Hey, man, it's once a year. I haven't even dropped one in a hot minute. So, like, whatever. Jordan Fernandez, SOUN, absolutely say less. Let's have a look at Soundhound. That was running nicely the other day. Not much today. Good big boy move up, the 21st and the 22nd. That was Thursday and Friday. Not much of a day yesterday. We go green to red yesterday, pop up there into that $9 reject. We've been putting lower lows and lower highs. South of VWAP right now, Jordan, to be quite honest with you, this is from an intraday perspective. This is the 5-minute look on SOUN. But let's look at the daily, because the daily is what's operative here, and we're moving up big boy. Okay, so we're not nearly at all-time highs. Forget about that. But we're well off the lows, Joseph. We did defend that dollar without splitting, all right? So this did defend the dollar back November of 22 without splitting. Since then, it had its AI run earlier this year. And now, kind of with a more predictable higher low, higher high, kind of looks like it may be rounded bottoming over here with this kind of curl back up. So keep your eye out on this one. I mean, if you get a blow off top at $10, this could squeeze. And let me give you some information on this one so you can kind of try to make some predictions. First of all, you should know that NVIDIA is invested in this. Number two, you should know that it's $326 million float. 326 million share float. Here's the big boy part though. 24.85% of that 326 million shares is borrowed for short. So about a quarter, if not exactly a quarter of the float is shorted. So that's good. And then here's the even better part. So we know that this is at least 2 weeks old. Maybe, I think I actually looked at this maybe last week and it was the same. So let's say maximum a week. Here's the deal. Where are the shorts hanging out? We just printed $9 yesterday, Joseph. The local high on this is 10.52. So the shorts are hanging out somewhere over here. Maybe they're from here, okay? But this is big. That's old. That's May 2022. I'm going to put a guess, an educated guess, that the shorts are somewhere here. So if we get going, we take out 9, 950, 10, you're going to see a squeeze. Just think about that. 25% of the float is shorted, and we're almost at local highs. Local high, if you look at this here, 10, 1050. That's a local high with all the prints, with all the closing prints, that is, south of 9 2/3. We just weaseled up to 9 yesterday. We could absolutely have a short squeeze if this one really gets going above 9.5, 10. You could see a lot of people being forced to cover there. So great call out by you, Jordan. Obviously I kind of knew how to do all that, but I didn't actually look at sound how to make that assessment. That's a good look. Thanks for bringing that to my attention. SOUN. We definitely could get a short squeeze on this bad boy in the coming future. Let's look at some of the trades that we've got. 671 on Kodak, not doing there. LX at 6 1/4. We got stopped out all out of IMG, and we're still break even right now on CDZI. So thank you. So thanks to Big Spile for that. Shout out to Nick Dubb, says he totally agrees. I'm assuming with my assessment on SOUN. Jeremy Newman saying, let's go Xena. All right, we were trading that monster yesterday. Let's have a look at see what he's doing right now. Okay, that's a monster topping tail there on the 5. On the daily, okay. So Xena just took VWAP, but I want to tell you, who was it again that was talking about this? Xena, where's it at? Whoever was saying Xena. Look, it rejected 10.5 earlier. So be careful with this. It has a propensity to come into VWAP and then reject it. The only good part about that is we have a higher low this time. So we could be putting in a bit of an upward channel. Keep your eye on this one. I've got nothing on as ZENA today. We kind of traded this monster yesterday. Joseph, what's your look?
Yeah. So we're holding on to this NVDA trade, NVDA. It seems to be working out. We held those lows, which is really nice. So I like to see that. And then we kind of picked up on volume on the lower time frame. So let's see if we can continue to push higher. As of right now, it's looking like that thesis is starting to play out, as Microsoft looks like it wants to continue to move higher as well too. And Google is making higher days. Guys, so that Google's moving really strong, and same with Microsoft. So I think if they continue to drag the overall market up, it's just going to drag NVIDIA up.
Joseph?
And yes.
Sorry, I have to interrupt.
Yeah.
We just got a headline here, guys, at 1:41. It's a marijuana-driven headline. Shout out to the OG Darwin for this. Here we go. Democratic congressional lawmakers push Biden to issue marijuana executive order before Trump takes office. We're being reported here by Marijuana Moment. Not vouching for their credibility, but not disparaging it either. Just letting you know there is a marijuana headline right now that had MSauce move to the high side there. And Darwin was, jokingly saying MSauce is high off a headline.
Yeah.
So you gotta love
exactly.
that kind of.
There you go. Yeah, I don't know how much weight you're gonna hold on to that one.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do anything with this one, but I just wanted to let everybody know. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, totally. We need that stuff, man. Adara's off today.
Yeah.
Hopefully she's feeling better. So again, she'd be dropping the news as you. Such a low THC move.
Low THC move, says the OB. He is the one, Kanob. Well, when you have the kind of weekends that OB has, everything is low THC. So, come on, OB. I got to throw some shade, baby. No, I'm kidding. He is just joking there, but
I said low.
30% above only, so I wasn't wrong. 30% is pretty high. Shout out to
R-ball. 30 R-ball.
30 R-ball. I love how everything has to have trading euphemisms.
So,
fantastic.
Yeah, guys, we're still holding on to this NVDA trade here. We're liking it right now. It is starting to work out. But again, I mentioned this time and time again, it's a little bit of a grind. And sure enough, it's highly correlated with the Qs. They're kind of trading in tandem right now. So if one's going to break out, most likely the other. But the stronger index here is the SPY. It's just creeping in on those all-time highs. And I noticed with the SPY, when it makes an all-time high, it's like quiet. There's no like really big noise about it. I feel like there should be some more enthusiasm behind the markets making all-time highs. It just kind of subtly does it, and then no one really knows, and then they look at the next thing and it's like, oh, all-time high. I know I did that with SPY. So let's see what's going on. I think, and I'll say it again one more time, guys. Sorry to sound like a broken record, but in order for the Qs to move higher, we're going to need these big boys to participate and continue to move higher. And I think as long as Microsoft kind of continues on the path that it is, Google starts recovering, NVDA gets out of kind of this choppy noise it's been in for the past couple of days since the report. I think we're going to be sitting pretty, because I know a lot of analysts are bullish for the foreseeable future. So they think that the market is set up really nice for a couple-year bull run, and I wholeheartedly agree on that one, because again, we're in the interest rate cut cycle. The economy is doing fine. America's GDP is doing just fine. We're looking to get some tax cuts from a corporate standpoint as well too. So again, I think it's a really bullish case for equities in the long run.
Yeah. And I want to build on one point, Joseph, a great little tidbit there that I got from one of the guests at the compound. I forget his name. It was a couple of weeks ago. You know, he's more of a fundamentals guy. He's obviously a trader, but he deals with fundamentals and a lot of quant stuff. And here's what he was saying. When a company has rising, not just stagnant, high stagnant, but rising gross margins, there's a reason why their gross margins are rising, and there's a reason why their competitors are not eating into their gross margins. Usually it means they have a defensible moat, right, that other people can't get to. Now, in the case of NVIDIA, the defensible moat is not the technology. We know that AMD can make GPUs. It's about the supply. Taiwan Dang Semiconductor gives the majority of their advanced AI chip supply to NVIDIA. So that's NVIDIA's defensible moat. Is it sustainable? I would submit to you it's not in the long run. However, what's that long run? What does that mean? Well, in order for Taiwan Semi to give other companies like AMD, like Broadcom and some others, some of their production capacity for advanced AI chips, they need to either increase their current plant output or build new plants. We know that they're building new plants in several countries, Japan, several in, I believe, one in Germany, several in the United States, but those aren't coming online yet. So what does that mean? That means NVIDIA's moat continues to be defensible going into the future. I'd say for at least another year or whenever these fabs are supposed to be developed. So keep your eye out for companies with rising gross margins. There is a reason why they're rising, and they're not being eaten into by their competitors. Usually it's a defensible reason, and so that's my little rant there. So here we go on CDZI. This one defended VWAP nicely. A 5-candle green pattern coming right back into that same area that we had issues with, 445. I've got a better dollar cost average this time around, so I'm going to sit here, try to wet my beak on some profitability to de-risk a little bit as we can possibly continue to ascend here. Kodak, as I see on my side chart, continuing to move up again. 472s. I've been waiting for a hot minute here at 74s, and I'm just too stubborn to lower my price, my beak wetter, so I'm going to leave it exactly where it is there. We'll see what we get, and we won't get upset. So let's see what we got over here. Any commentary from the chat? Anything? NVIDIA will probably keep napping all day. Okay, so I also promised another individual, I forget who it is, that I'd look at BTC. So let's have a look. BTC, USD. Ram, can we go to the chart? Thank you. Let's go to the... She does this on purpose. Fat finger. Okay, it's all right. No worries. So look, dude. Yeah, I know. Wow. Thanks, Fabian. I appreciate you, brother. Yeah, thank you, bro. Thank you. Appreciate all the love that you give and the support, everything there, Fabian. All right, so here's the look. Mother of all cup and handles. Maybe a better one on gold. Maybe you have a look at the cup and handle on gold. It was the cup was for the rounded bottom was forming over a period of a decade. But why I'm looking at the cup and handle on the daily here on BTC is to show you where I see the breakout area to be, and that's about 75,000, maybe a little bit below that. So if this comes back and tests that breakout area, I'm still a bull on this, because I mean, how many times have we've heard, you know, let the breakout area manifest on gaps, for example, and then wait for the price action to come back in to try to test the gap fill, only to defend it. That's usually the best entry. Now, how this ends up trading, I got no idea. This looks like a bull flag over here that's forming ever since the 6th, when we really broke out after the election. But I mean, to me, 75,000 to defend this breakout area. Some people would say the breakout area is 70. Yeah, you know, there's a bit of flexibility there at 70 to 75. In any event, if it comes back in, I'm a buyer there. I'm a buyer aggressively there. And whether it does, it's a different story. So I was talking about the cup and handle, the cup pattern, the handle pattern, the breakout part of the handle is about 73, 74, whatever. Some people would say 70. So that's how I see Bitcoin. Whether or not it comes all the way back down there, an entirely different story. But look, just trade it like you would anything else. Look for the chart patterns, look for the higher lows, the higher highs, look for that volume drop off. Keep your eye on the oscillators to see price action, oscillator divergence. Yeah, do your regular TA, baby. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. So we'll keep an eye out on that. Goodness gracious, Kodak, it just won't fill me. Joseph at 674. Every time we weasel up there, there is selling, and I did not get printed. So a little frustrating there. Also a little frustrating on CDZI. We waited at 41s there. It worked its way into 41, didn't get printed. So I'll keep my eye out on those. Nothing much doing on my side. What are you doing, brother?
Yeah, we're just holding on to this this NVDA trade. We're looking to see if we can break that resistance. But I just want to first and foremost, I want to give a shout out to Forex AU and Tony, always showing love. So I appreciate you guys very much. So trust me, it does not go unnoticed. All right. And then my other good buddy Nick W. Could you look at AMBA going into earnings tonight? Sure. Absolutely. Anything for you, Nick W. All right. Oops. I typed that in wrong. Excuse me. AMBA. Let's see what we got. Ambarella stock going into earnings. Let's take a look at this from a technical standpoint. Unfortunately, I don't know too much about this underlying from a fundamental standpoint, but let's take a look at it. Going into earnings, let's take a look at and see if we can find some all-time highs on this thing. And sure enough, I don't know if we've got any splits or anything from that standpoint, but are you familiar with? Yeah, are you familiar with AMBA?
I'll look at see if it's split.
Yeah,
because I can tell my charts over here.
Yeah, so
AMBA. We'll go to the daily on this one. No splits, Joseph.
Ooh,
I have the splits set up on these charts.
Yeah. You know what? Tough look there. But again, it's kind of recovering. You can see that from a technical standpoint, you form somewhat of a double bottom there, which is pretty good. And then sure enough, you break kind of this consolidative area with some momentum. You see that volume stepping in as well too. As you go to break these key resistance levels and potential isolated pivots here that were here. So good luck there. I don't know too much about the company going into earnings. Or what they do, but again, I'll look a little bit more into that for you, Nick W. But from a technical standpoint, it's not looking too horrible. Just be prepared that you are going into earnings, so anything can happen from that standpoint. It all depends on how the street perceives that, guys. So yeah, we like that. Let's see what NVDA is coming back in. Yeah, it's just a choppy mess. The breakout isn't necessarily going to happen right now, guys. So there's no point in me just kind of sitting and holding into this one when I'm not going to get the breakout that I'm looking for. So I'm just going to get out of this one for now. That's totally fine. There'll always be another day and time to play this thing. So it's a chip play. Okay, yeah. So yeah, Nick, it's not looking bad from a technical standpoint, but it is awfully down quite a bit. So wait in. I don't know if you have any positions or options in it as of right now, but just wait in and play and wait for that. Wait for the play and wait for that earnings report to come out. But yeah, I mean that's it. That's it. That's all I've got for now. We only got 5 minutes in the chat. Did you guys vote? Let's get to 1,000. Let's get to 1,000 votes.
Come on, guys.
Yeah, come on. Get it to 1,000 votes, guys. Let's see what's going on. 20% PLTR, 40% NVDA, 12% goggles. Come on, and 28% GME. No one. Yeah, goggles.
Let's go, baby. Goggles only got 12%?
12%? Like, come on. And they issue a divvy? Like, come on.
They issue a divvy,
yeah, man. So, come on,
Shout out to the Katina man. We hope he feels better.
Yeah, I miss the hot dog cannons and stuff like that. And I'm reloaded. Yeah, the hot dog cannon.
All right, guys, 783 votes. Let's see if you guys can get it to 1,000 in 5 minutes. You got some heavy hitters on here, man. Palantir, I think it's up like 300% on the year. NVIDIA, we don't have to wax poetic about that. Everybody knows. Goggles having itself a decent day. It did its darndest to work back into that $170 area. It's about 40 pennies south of it right now, up 1.18. And then GameStop, who knows why this is moving, but it's moving, and it has been on the daily. Have a look at that breakout on the daily. It is putting in consistently higher highs and higher lows. Something is afoot. I've been saying this for a week with GameStop. You know, I kind of feel like we're going to come in one day and we're going to hear about Catman did this, Catmandu did that, options or whatever, because usually we don't have that kind of directional price action on GameStop, at least in this way. So we'll have to wait and see exactly what happens there. But in any event, it's trading on the day. And if you want to hear about how Obi would have looked at it, how Neil, I don't know if Neil traded it or not. But if you want to hear what their thoughts about it are, get into the chat. Make sure you hit that GameStop button. There's about 810, not bad, votes right now. Sorry, we started the poll off late today. That is on me. All right, so this one, Kodak over here, we're gonna flatten this one out here, Ram. Despite the fact we didn't get that 674, because we got to be off on the show in a hot minute, so we're gonna take that one out over here. Likewise, with our friend LX, we're long at, what, 409. We're going to take out the last remaining amount, the $0.25 over there, flatten out on this one. Good trade there, IMG. Oh, IMG. Such a disaster. Okay. All right. That's a disaster, but CDZI is now finally moving. So to the high side, I'm definitely not flattening this one out finally. I love these ads. I can never tell where I'm long. Okay, we're long at 33.
You can't tell. It's really.
I know, it's funny. 43s. No, it's because the ad was there. The glasses are okay. I can see.
All right.
48. So we've got a bunch of beak wetters. This is not a big position, a little bit bigger than I typically would have taken with something like this one. Let's see if it can break above that 445 level. We had all sorts of trouble with this one during the day. CDZ is what I'm talking about. It's up about 26% on the day. Looking to do a little bit better. No, you didn't, Kodak. No, you didn't take out that top.
Oh, no. No
Joseph,
way.
what are the odds of that happening?
Where were you in at on this thing?
I don't know, bro. Somewhere there. I was at 50 or something.
You were in this thing for the whole
session? Like, there's no way. I wait for it, and then it pops through my level.
There's no way. Dude, you were in that position for the whole session.
Man.
Yeah, so there's the official paper hands has been revoked. I can't even call you that ever again. 3 hours.
Hey, all right. We'll do better, man. But holding up there. Sorry for the announcements, guys. We've got some fire alarm drills happening in the condo over here. But Joseph, we got a couple of minutes left. Any final thoughts going into the day here about possibly the Fed minutes and then PCE tomorrow, anything like that?
Yeah. Fed minutes. I know a lot of people always kind of anticipate some high volatility going into the Fed minutes. Sometimes it's a little bit lackluster, but always just be prepared. Sharif mentioned this. Have your stops in place.
Sure.
Just be prepared just in case that volatility influx comes in. If it doesn't, that's fine. You were just ready. It's like car insurance. You have it. You don't need it every day, but it's there when you do need it. So just make sure you have those stops in place, guys. FOMC. We'll wait and see what's going on that. But again, I'm looking forward to CrowdStrike after the day, Autodesk, Workday, and Dell. Those are some things that I'm going to be keeping my eye on for the aftermarket reports.
Sounds good. Crystal Ball wants to know what we do for ARMs. I hit arms like once every 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm not.
Because you're always hitting arms with everything other than
chest,
legs,
back. Like, you know what I mean? When you're crushing chest, you're hitting the tries a little bit. When you're doing back, you're hitting the buys a little bit.
So, so sorry about that, C13L. It is the public announcement here in the condo that we're in. It looks like we're having some fire testing issues. So sorry about that. It's done now, though, guys. All right. It's been a great show trading today. I hope you guys had fun trading the small cap gappers. Don't think you'll see too much of that coming up. They love their big names. It's going to be Obi. It's going to be Neil. They're going to be on in a hot minute. Make sure you were getting your votes in. I think we've got like about 5 or 6 seconds left. And we'll throw on the afternoon rundown coming up soon. What's going on? Coming up soon, and then the big kahunas, they'll give you their look about how they feel about those names. But it is 2 o'clock, Joseph. So we shall see you guys. Same bat time, same bat channel. Take it over, big kahunas.
Thank you very much. Bash Brothers in the house. Great midday show. Obviously, we have Fed minutes coming out here, so